They sleep on me, I hate it when they do that. And I'm the greatest now, I said it before I knew that. I'm the greatest though. I'm way too connected, I can't never stop. I'm way too protected, I can't never fly. And not a spirit in me, I can't wait to pop. They hate on me, but bump my music, is it hate or not? When I'm in the building, they feel it on sight. They can't help but see me cause I am the light. I don't need the recognition, I'm just sick of repetition. I learned about manifesting.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Pro Stupid Podcast. This is episode number 4. I am your host, Vincent Anthony. Today we have Goran.
Howdy.
Yeah, and Goran is here.
Hey guys, you know me. I'm here again.
AKA Foreign Guy.
AKA Foreign Guy, and if you want to find my Instagram, it's all lowercase foreign _ Goran, Goran.
How appropriate. And next we have our special guest, John Ciccotta.
Hello. I am what he said, John Ciccotta. I am the special guest. You can follow me on Twitter, Johnny X Bagels, because I love bagels and I play guitar and I have a lot of tattoos.
Bagels and
I
guitar
hate this
have a lot
question,
in
so I
common.
don't know what else to say. So
I specifically only like songs about bagels. So
I have the same middle name as your host, so
What are you talking about? That's my last name.
my middle name is
Concordia?
Anthony. Oh, that's right.
It doesn't matter. Nobody's coming to kill us yet.
Yet.
Yeah, they haven't pissed enough people off quite yet.
We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Just give it time.
Give us a week.
Oh man. All right. So starting off today, going especially stupid. Joe Biden fell off his bike today.
Oh, I saw that.
Anybody
Yeah.
see? I love.
Yeah,
it.
Why are people letting him ride a bike?
It's a fair question.
That's a good.
Why
one.
is he not at least like tandem with like a security guard or something?
He does. This is the dude. People went to go help
Just
him
have,
because
like,
people
no,
are
I'm saying,
normal.
like,
You know how like bikes used to
he-
have pegs?
Yes.
Just have a Secret Service guy just hanging off the back,
Like
holding
around
his
the shoulders.
Yeah.
Well, I figured he'd have like a tandem bike, like a 3-person bike, and then like the security guards are on either side.
Right,
of it.
they're
He's in the
riding
middle.
it for him.
Yeah.
I got a better one. It should be one of the bikes that like when you were little and your dad and it just put a bigger one where it's like the big baby seat and they just buckle him in.
Giant
and,
training wheels on it.
yeah, and the guy just rides and he just sits there and just waves with with licking an ice cream cone.
Yep. I was gonna say, don't forget the ice cream.
Because what's it called? That would be perfect for him. But yeah, actually watching it, I feel bad for him a little bit.
Dude,
because
Alex sent that. He's like, I do not feel bad for this man.
I feel
Did he get hurt? Is he like?
no, he's fine. That's why I think it was okay. I think it was okay. If he would have gotten hurt, it would have
I
been.
think he died.
I think people just like, obviously, like people are obviously pissed off at inflation and the fact that he's pretty much an empty seat. But like, it was one of those things where I was like,
We are.
I get it, but dude, people.
Things
like,
are inflated.
You know, normally I come on the right, but I was definitely this time being like,
I'm
all right, guys, everyone relax. Like his foot got caught in the pedal. It's not like people act like he rode up and just fell over. Like if he if he just rode up and fell over, but his foot, if you watch it, his foot kind of gets caught in like the thing that's supposed to keep your foot in there. Why he has his foot in that thing and why they gave him a bike with the like.
Our greatest-
The pedals have like the foot holder.
Because if you watch the video, he steps off on and he's fine with his other one. Then he goes to get his foot out and he goes to put it down and his toe gets caught and he just falls over. It wasn't like he just forgot to put his leg like a lot of people acted. And I
I'm Joe
thought,
Biden. This is Jackass.
Hey. Yeah, right.
but for the first time in a while, I was like, ah, man, like this shouldn't be that big of a deal. Like I get it. He's
2 years ago, who would have known our greatest national security threat would have been airplane stairs and bikes.
and a bike pedal.
Yeah. and the English language.
Yeah, people are like, this is the state of our country. I was like, the thing that I saw that was pretty touching was like, this is the dude that's in charge of the nuclear codes. And I was like,
There's got to be someone else. who
Nuclear
was
what?
that.
There
Yeah.
are
Like a
like two guys
backup.
with keys.
No, there's got to be some people like who know.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Give me the keys.
He probably knows like just like a decimal.
He just is given one
You can-
number.
all right, Joe, you can push the first button.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No, Joe gets the last button. The last button is the last number in the code is 9. Can you remember that? Come on, man. I can remember that.
Yeah.
It's 8. Yeah. That's a thing. That's a thing. If he was
8,
real,
9, they're all numbers, right?
yeah,
Age
number
doesn't matter.
the Ukraines, man. You gotta do the Ukraine.
Yeah, the kids would touch my hairy legs. All 9 of them.
But yeah, no, that's the thing. Honestly, that to me was like, to be honest, watching it, I was like, wow, people went like super crazy about it. And I get it. Like, but at the same time, people were acting like it was such a huge thing. I'm like, all right, man. Like, I don't know. To me, it was the first time in a while where I was just like,
we've been through a dry spell of like stuff to make fun of him for. So it's like life is just getting sadder now with how expensive everything is. So like,
Yeah.
it's like a moment of like
wait,
relief.
shit's getting real. There's nothing.
They're falling off bikes.
Yeah, there were just people who were just so excited. I'm like, yeah, that's great. I was like, well, like right now, what was the thing? The next topic that I brought up, like thousands of cattle in Kansas just keeled over and died for no reason. And like no one's talking about that.
10,000 cattle.
10,000?
2 to 10,000 cattle.
Yeah,
they don't know the exact number. And they're saying it's from heat. And it's like, fact check, heat's happened before.
Heat. What do they mean by heat? Like,
that's what they just said. They're like,
vague
oh, it was
answer.
hot.
Heat
And it's
stroke,
like,
heat
how,
stroke,
the
overheat.
government's not even trying anymore with their things.
What are the
bullshit excuse was that? I can't even think of anything.
What are the farmers?
What do
have to
they just
say?
do?
Let's
Like
ask them.
I was watching. I saw something with what's it called? Ah, God, the dude who got kicked off of the Ohio Republican ticket, who was in Kansas. The guy who got kicked off, he got re-put back on. I forget his name already, of course. He actually was on a podcast and he was talking about how he actually called a bunch of the farmers. Yeah. And every single one that he talked to when they said heat, he was like, they were like, that's the biggest bunch of crap I've ever heard. Like, that's not just a heat thing. Like, it was 105 degrees. It's like they've dealt with 115. Cattle just don't die.
Was that in Ohio that the cattle died? Or where
No, Kansas.
Just Kansas, okay.
Yeah, but 10,000, 2 to 10,000 cows just keel over. Like, there's a reason.
all
like,
at once?
yeah, dude, they you can watch the video, they
like
go
dominoes.
by and they're
Like-
Were they fed alfalfa?
Yeah, I wonder if it was just bad crops.
It's the evil guys from Yellowstone.
Yeah, no, there's
I need to watch that. Don't spoil it.
Oh, it didn't really spoil much. It's a good show. You should definitely.
I do want to. I have to get
Peacock, it's all on Peacock.
Paramount.
Paramount Plus.
Either or.
Paramount Plus.
Is it, I think they're on Peacock.
Give us money. We'll promote you.
Huh?
I think it's on Peacock.
Kevin Costner's great.
Yeah.
Water-
Either way, watch it. Yeah,
He's great in Waterworld.
From being a
it was
people.
worth it.
All right. Calm
See,
down.
I'll shill it. Waterworld was great too. Kevin Costner.
Yeah. Hey man, he played Superman's dad.
Yeah.
Fake dad.
Fake dad. Yeah. Russell Crowe was the real one.
There's a Russell Crowe movie. We can just keep talking about Russell Crowe.
That's fine.
There's
Wanna
a
hear a
Russell Crowe
song off
movie,
my new album?
called Unhinged, and it's literally about road rage.
I've seen that. It's really good.
I want to watch it.
Is he
It's
New
really good.
Zealand?
It's as if
No.
Dennis was serious.
No.
and Always Sunny.
Dude, imagine like Dennis fat,
Yeah,
but like just like put Dennis into like a fat older Russell Crowe.
Yeah, right.
and
I'm
he
gonna
just,
fight you.
Oh,
With
he
the
like,
road
Seize the gap.
murders people because of
road
road
rage.
rage.
You fat bitch.
Ooh.
Faster.
I'm just quoting.
I was, before we
I loved your genuine.
before we started, I was telling Vinny that when we had to go to Johnny's birthday dinner.
Oh, we literally had to tell him.
No.
Oh,
No, you had to get your car washed on the way there.
Hey.
Just because right before the podcast, Goran was like, wait, I got to go change my laundry and get a sweatshirt and
Right.
make some food and
Be an adult.
do the SATs real quick. I'll be back.
He's got to wake up tomorrow before he
Hey,
starts.
my laundry waits for no man.
Last time you did your laundry, you had pepperoni in there.
Oh,
Do you
dude.
remember that? That was,
Not
and Goran
surprised,
comes out and goes, who put pepperoni in my laundry? We were like, what?
I saw a pale pink slice like hanging on the rim.
And then
I'm
he
like,
did.
What the fuck?
And then he found out it was himself. He pranked himself.
Yeah,
You're not even fat.
I know.
Make more sense if I did.
I'm working on it.
I'm getting there.
Yeah, give me some time.
No, the tree job.
Hold on, well, speaking about the tree job, my car daily gets shit on by birds because that's exactly where our parking spots are, like underneath the tree. It's ironic that I work at a tree place and we have a problem tree that we won't cut down. Just a bunch of birds hanging out, shitting on our cars, and I happen to have a dark colored
Cutting
car.
down all the other trees.
Hmm?
They're cutting down all the other trees, all of their other trees.
Yeah, it's like
I
a
mean, in their
mechanic.
defense, they get paid to do those trees.
Exactly. It's like a mechanic. A mechanic
don't
works
care.
on his car last.
They don't care that you're getting paid.
No, they're getting paid.
The birds?
No. Yeah.
Yeah, just
they're,
pay the birds.
Well, yeah. I mean, birds are not real, and the money goes back to
Government's
the
just
government.
crapping all over my car. Birds are.
What a symbolic happenstance.
Yeah.
Government's just shitting all over us.
But anyways,
my
going back to the cattle thing. So yeah, they were saying it was heat, and then so one of the things that I was saying, it's like unless there's like a lack of water, like then that actually could be a real thing. But at the same time, like
But all at the same time, they have all I can think of is this is bad crops or something.
yep.
Like, but why would they just like
You can taint
you
crops
asked
too.
right? So like
There you
when
go.
they were asked like how, and they're just like heat. Like
Dude, I just
that's the
think
best you got.
Right, it's the same reason why they were like, gas is going up because the war.
the Putin price hike.
Yeah.
And it's like, why was it going up for a year before then? Like,
Right.
And the year before
shut
that.
up.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
Heat.
Yeah, it's hot out.
I
Yeah.
just think that I remember the price of gas being like a little over $2 2 years ago. Like 2 years before the Russian war started.
Why can't Joe Biden finish a sentence? It's the heat.
The heat.
That's
It
what we're
could
just
very well
I
be.
mean, that I might believe.
that could actually be the heat.
that I might. That's at least why he's falling off.
That's why he couldn't finish his ice cream cone.
Yeah.
It was the heat.
Melted.
Yeah.
And maybe the bike slipped on like the melted ice cream.
Oh, dude. I watched it. I made sure to watch it in slow
Guys,
motion.
his own reckoning.
You should be a detective.
Detective
I
Gordon.
should. Thank you.
I should.
You know, I've been thinking that.
Sherlock Homo.
Gordon, I haven't seen you in a while, so I just got to get this all.
Oh, I know. You got all these insults
I
festering
do.
inside you.
Just
Oh.
yeah, just building up.
So other things that I have heard through the interweb and ideas are it could also be insurance fraud. Like if they if say somehow maybe the cattle they knew were tainted or something like that, they could poison them to do that. That would actually makes like some type of sense. So you like poison your own.
But doesn't the government own like 90% of farms?
No, they subsidize farms. They used to, now supposedly, I remember learning, I believe in middle school, that because they can make so much food, like corn and stuff like that,
Right.
what they would do is they would pay farmers because corn is like, it used to be like 5 cents per like ton.
Yeah.
So it's like if someone's,
I can't eat corn.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just,
Yeah, but you can eat corn
just want
products.
everyone to know that I
But-
can't eat corn.
he has Crohn's.
Yeah.
Yeah, put that as his overlay.
Right.
Crohn's, make a wish.
Crohn's enthusiast.
Enthusiast.
Nice. The foundation would love that.
Yeah. But what was I gonna say? Oh, going back to
Product.
yeah. So it could be insurance. Could be insurance fraud. Oh no,
You're
it
still a
was
leech. You're not special. Sorry.
no, you're good. Anyways, they used to subsidize farmers because so many farmers. What's up, Dad? Looking for a snack? Looking for a snack? That was my dad, ladies and gentlemen. He should have came on camera. That would have been great.
Legend just broke through. The
Yeah.
He's the real special
If
guy.
this video doesn't get 1 million views,
I don't think there
I'll
was
eat
any
my
camera on him.
sock.
I don't think it would have been able to see.
I'll eat my
Andrew
shoe.
John. You'll eat your
He
shoe.
looks good.
Yeah.
Looks good.
Well, he's
Uh,
better.
Wearing
what was I saying? So they subsidize
Awesome.
farmers
Fully-
for corn. I love that you guys are just going back.
Sorry. Excuse me, Vinny. We have way more pressing topics to talk about.
Hold on. We have stupid jokes.
Yeah.
Um,
This
but-
is your dad.
Hey, we haven't talked like Christopher Walken in a while.
I was
I
waiting.
was waiting.
How?
Hey,
Pro stupid,
outta
everybody.
here. Peter. It's just words. There's
Peter,
just
we
like
have no
one.
corn.
There's just like 2-word sentences that would just.
There's a million inside jokes we have with each other that are internet or like cartoon based, and yeah, they're all 1 to 2 words. Absolutely.
Words.
Peter. There's no
So back to the cattle
Let's
thing.
get back to the show.
Back to something
Yes.
that is
Yes.
somewhat relevant to the audience besides inside
Sorry,
jokes.
guys.
No, you're good. Inside jokes are fine here and there, but when it's like
We got to
5
make them
minutes.
outside at some point.
outside jokes. What was I saying? Corn gets subsidized. They pay the farmers to do that because that keeps the farmers in business or whatever. But I don't think they do that with beef.
Really.
Yeah,
No.
I don't think they. Beef is already so.
Was it was it cattle for beef, or was it a dairy farm? Was it?
I think it was like food cattle. That's why people are concerned because
Yeah, just another notch in our shortage of food.
Yeah, what's it called?
Recreational
And the
food.
crazy thing is the FDA just approved gene editing, like for beef cattle.
To like make them bigger.
Gene
and...
editing?
Yeah, like
Hasn't that already happened?
no, well they've cloned. There's clone beef.
GMOs, right?
Yeah, there's clone beef and there's GMO. Obviously, the corn they give them and stuff a lot of times is GMO. But no, the actual editing, and
Like
so it's like
hormones and stuff.
I know it just got approved, and the cows I believe are full size. So I feel like that doesn't really make sense.
The most bizarre part about it is that it was all at the same time. There was
Yeah.
no there's no other reasoning. Like there's nothing.
Those are the things. Those are the things that I heard. That's why some people are saying the gene editing thing, where it's like, were these cows not able to be?
They
Right, did they have to get put
they
down.
gave the COVID vaccine to the cows.
No, but dude, that's
Johnson,
well, that's the thing. What is it? That's people are just like, oh wait, could this possibly be like the gene edited cows, and they just all dropped over dead, and like,
Right.
yeah, and stuff, because they were like, that actually makes more sense for all of a sudden, just like, whoop, and they just die.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's definitely interesting. I feel like that's more conspiratorial, obviously, but at the same time, we don't know. Like I remember, what was it during COVID? Wasn't there like in New York? I remember people being like, the birds just dropping over dead. Like there were just like hordes of birds that were dying. And like,
Yeah, I think I heard something.
and then it was the same time they were rolling out 5G. So then everyone was like, it's 5G. It's killing the birds. And then it's just like one of those things where it's like true, or they drank some poison water or other things like that. People just immediately run to it. It's like, it's not that it couldn't be it. It could be. I hate it when people go the other way. Absolutely
Right,
not.
let's just be on the same page here and agree that New York does not have the cleanest water.
Yeah, it could be. It could be a lot of things. It could be a bird flu that's just in the birds, stuff like that. But
A bird.
yeah,
flu?
but
It's
that
drone
leads
flu.
that leads into the thing that we're saying, like, why are all the food processing plants like burning, or why are people, you know what I mean? Why are these animals dying? I saw something where like I think they had to put down like 2 million chickens, or maybe that was turkeys, and like all these food processing plants. I think we're at like 20 plus are like burning down, and people are like, well, this happens like often and stuff. And I knew in 2018 it only happened to like 2, but maybe that was the off year, and now we're just paying attention to it and stuff. But like people keep talking about like,
I think we're paying attention to it too much.
could be.
What do you mean? Like what should we not be paying attention to?
Commercials.
I mean, I already don't. I have all the streaming services.
I hate commercials. No, I think we're all just too engaged.
Yeah.
So every little thing that we see is just going to be heightened.
Well, I think people, because of the internet and stuff, people now can see these like little billionaire groups like the Bilderbergs, or what was the thing that just happened? The thing in Davos. Who was that?
International Monetary Fund.
No. Charles Schwab, the Economic Forum.
Yeah, the World Economic.
World Economic Forum. They, these people are getting together and they keep talking, about wanting to control people and stuff like that. So there's people who naturally go towards, the more conspiratorial thing and are like, is this them like doing it on purpose? And
Right.
you know what I mean? Are they messing with our food? Because if you control the food, you control people. You know what I mean?
It's more, I think, to a way to cause more like scarcity in general, because like that's a lot of food for a lot of people. Like even if it's just 2,000, like that's a lot of food.
Yeah, it's 800 pounds of beef each. So,
So-
2,000 times 800.
Cow can feed a 4-person family for like a year and a half.
Right. So
So-
it's just
Sounds
it's
like one of those
a lot of
weird
food.
like 4th grade math problems. All right, you got 4 families, 8 pounds of beef.
Yeah, right. Well, that's a rough estimate because I know a deer.
You got
can, like,
2
feed-
squirrels, a
feed family
cow.
for a year.
And a watermelon. How many tomatoes are there?
How many pancakes does it take to get to the moon?
How many birds do you have to kill to stop them from crap on your car?
Brought to you by government drones.
a lot.
But yeah, there's that. There's a lot of things like our foods are like people are talking about because of the war and stuff like that. That we're not going to have, I think, like something like 25% to 35%, I think, of our wheat. And so it's like one of those things where it's like we might actually, for the first time in a long time as a human race, actually experience a famine, which is crazy to think about.
They say
I
like
also
you know-
can't eat wheat, so I'm good.
What?
Yeah, you're good.
What do you
But
mean
at the
you
same
can't-
time, it pushes everything else up because so many other people
Since when
do.
can you not eat meat? Wheat.
Meat wheat.
Meat.
Wheat. Since when can you eat wheat?
We can't eat.
BBB.
Can you just keep trying to say it?
Why no wheat? Wheat not good. What do now?
Explain.
No, because I
This is Joe
can't.
Rogan.
Yeah, it's more so like multigrain.
You can't eat multigrain.
Can't. Yeah.
That's all right.
I
'cause
mean, like the
'cause
wheat
it
stuff.
sucks.
It's like it's just the way I can't. The way it digests inside of me.
The way it digests.
Isn't normal?
I did that, didn't I?
Isn't normal flour wheat?
I'm a little
still?
Italian.
Isn't normal flour wheat still?
All flour is wheat
Right.
unless it's nut.
So are you saying you can't have
flour or
whole
something,
wheat
right? Vegan.
and like multigrain, or
Like whole wheat bread or multigrain bread.
but right with like white bread's fine for you and
I don't know, man. I can't eat meat. Right?
no meat either?
I can eat meat.
Are you saying meat or wheat?
I think I could solve this.
I feel like we're saying the same thing.
situation.
Is it
There's
pan?
There's an L in it.
You saying pan or Pam?
Do we get any sort of
That's what
souvenirs?
There's a D on the end.
Yeah. There's an,
Can't eat meat. Anyways, this gets stupid.
what are you, just photosynthesize or something?
I just absorb it all. No, I literally can't like any like wheat bread. Everyone should just have Crohn's, and no one would have this issue.
Yeah.
There won't be a famine.
He does what they do in South Park, and he sticks everything up his butt.
Well, yeah, you don't want your penis to fly off.
Oh, because the gluten.
Yeah.
Trust
Yeah.
me, that's not going anywhere.
You eat it.
Have
You
you
can't find
like?
it.
Have you like?
So wait, if
I'm
you
just kidding.
You eat it.
But yeah, so there's that. Oh, and then the other thing is, so the Abbott baby formula thing that also just shut down again. So the whole thing
Cool.
that we got through,
Great.
supposedly thunderstorms, supposedly it was shut down, and flooding. I think if I remember right, shut down the baby formula plant that really just opened.
Oh,
So, like literally, we have baby formula, chickens, turkeys, like all these places are getting fires. A lot of tiny planes are running into these food facilities, which then you'd like one of those things where it's like, wait, like if 9/11 is a false flag, you're really trying to point to it. We're just gonna keep flying. Well, you know what? We really like that plane thing.
Like, well, give it a try.
Hey, we got a problem with this guy. Oh, we fly a plane into him.
Worked pretty well for the Japanese.
Yeah. You know what? Pearl Harbor. That was crazy. They had a good idea.
Pearl Harbor.
What are you gonna do? Shoot him?
That was
Don't
crazy.
care.
Crazy good.
You know what? We never thought of that. Just throwing people's lives. Dude, that's the fact that like that's such a crazy idea to me to think of. Like I can understand fighting and there being like almost certain death.
Like physical fighting?
Yeah, like if you're in a war or something like that, I can understand as a man like being like D-Day, where you're like the first people coming up, where you're pretty much dead.
Yeah.
Like, but there's that thing in your head where you're like you have hope that you're gonna live. When you're a kamikaze pilot,
You're dedicated. You don't.
You're like-
that's just
you're just
like,
already
You
dead.
don't think about it. Yeah, that's
You're the
just
equivalent of a
that's
suicide
just-
bomber.
in their
They are suicide
culture.
bombers.
Yeah,
Right.
they just know it's gonna happen. They're like, screw it.
This is so crazy though.
Yeah, they're
But
just.
they don't have.
But they don't think of it like that. They don't. They're not like they don't think of it. Well, maybe they do. I don't really know. But to me, I would think that they don't think of it like that.
They're not stupid. They're not like I get half money now, half money later.
Yeah. Like, what if I just like gently landed in the water next to an explosion?
Yeah, the kamikaze pilots are all. Ah! And the one guy's like,
Good. No, I think it's just a cultural thing. They don't like.
I wonder if
Don't think about it.
your
no, it's
family see it
definitely a
like-
cultural thing. It's just crazy. It's just like
Oh
one of
no,
those-
it's mind-boggling.
yeah,
Well, I shouldn't say mind-boggling, but it's
yeah, mind in a bottle.
it's in the computer.
But yeah, to me, I think about that, and it's like at least with like if you're a crazy Islamist and like radical Islam, you're like I want to blow everyone up. At least you're like I'm going to heaven. This is the way I get to heaven. And I
That's
get
what they think, yeah.
and I get my 72 virgins. Like that's
Why?
that seems like a deal.
Who picked that number?
The
Why
Quran.
Why not 70
Muhammad.
or 73 or 80? Why?
Somebody
Let's stop them at 72.
Somebody one time said it's one letter away from being 72 like peanuts or something. Like it's one letter away. Imagine if you go up there and you blow yourself up with just a handful of peanuts. They're like
Sucks.
God's just like, oh,
Yeah.
here you go.
Yeah. Maybe your nut allergy.
Yeah, you're just like I just think about that. But yeah, supposedly it's like one letter off. I was like, that would be That's a
one
pretty
letter
good
off
combo, yeah.
from making the word peanut.
Yeah, in their language.
In their
So, like,
language.
the-
I don't
the
know if that's
difference-
true. It's probably
The difference apparently is
the difference
like,
is one letter. So it could be 72 peanuts instead of 72 virgins. So that's what I'm saying. You get to
like if it's not translated
Like,
properly.
if it's not
right.
translated.
I mean, if
I'm gonna go
peanut-
out and
if the word peanuts is not translated properly and you say it too quickly,
you could be saying I wouldn't. Yeah, coming into a store, I would like some virgins. What?
peanuts.
I would like a jar.
Yeah, I got it. I get what you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah,
I would like 72 peanuts, please.
Yeah. Now we're crossing over cultures and language barriers.
That's why he's the foreign guy.
check all the boxes.
That was
Yeah.
that was Borat.
But yeah, so I don't know, that's crazy. Baby formula thing, like we literally just got past it, and then a storm happens, and it's right back, and it's
This is why I don't watch the news.
yeah, dude. Well, you're lucky you don't have a baby. That's the thing. If you don't watch the news, then you have a baby, and all of a sudden you're like, hey, where's my formula?
I don't have a baby. I'm
Yeah,
good.
it's good.
Yeah, that's.
I am.
I mean, it's horrible for the families out there that are like truly like going through this and suffering.
Of course.
But like,
I'm not a baby, so who gives a crap?
I'm good.
Suck it, babies.
when's gas gonna go back down?
Yeah.
So I can find a woman who have the same problems as everyone else with
Yeah.
baby formula.
First, I need to finish the first problem, which is woman. Then I can worry about baby.
I am the baby. I have to become not the baby first.
Yeah. Another thing that I saw in the news this week, which was pretty interesting. Did you guys hear about the Colbert insurrection?
I did. I heard about that. I was watching Tim Pool talk about that.
Go on.
So, Colbert had a bunch of like
Steve-
writers and
Steve
Steve
Colbert?
Colbert
Yeah.
actually broke into the Congress thing, just like we're roaming around the halls of Congress, not like signed in, not appropriately, and stuff like that. And it's like one of those things where you're like, wait a second, you guys get
Apparently, Adam Schiff or a staffer for Adam Schiff like let them in, like,
let them into the
literally
building,
just-
and it was after hours. Like they're not supposed to be in the building. And I get it, they're trying to do comedy or whatever and stuff like that, but it's still trespassing, and it's the same thing that they're trying to put the January 6 people away for, like technically,
It's
but
not even.
it's not even
just-
like in the news.
Not
Like
even
you haven't even
just
heard
the
about it.
same thing
Little
that they're
different,
trying
but-
to put them away for. It's the same thing that people who don't have it on video that cops let them in. That's like the only people that got off. The only people that judge was like, look, it's literally on video. This cop letting this dude did. Besides that, like they're taking people that were just roaming around in there and putting them in like solitary confinement. So it's not even like just, like it's just a small minority of people that affects. Like
I just think it's I just think it's so crazy.
What were they doing there? Like, what were they?
They were banging on doors and stuff like that. I think they were trying to get interviews
Well,
with like
from what I heard, they were trying to get interviews earlier in the day, and they were told to leave because their press like passes were not approved or something.
Oh.
So I don't know if like someone just like let them in and they were just like, screw it, we're gonna wreak havoc because they were debagging so earlier and like started like messing with stuff. But
yeah, it was like Triumph the Insult comic dog guy.
yeah, and like his
Oh.
crew.
And their crew. So people that are with Colbert a lot. But they like, you know what I mean? They went to go do that, but then they went in and it's like they're like, oh, we're let in, and it's like one of those things where it's like, yeah. How about all the other people who walked in during the protest? Like, I understand the people who broke windows, the people that assaulted cops, the people who did that. Like, those are the people that should definitely go. But then you have the Mimas that just saw everyone and walked in with their little flag and were like, hey,
I mean, none of them should have been there.
no, but it's the same thing though. When the security's going like this to have you be brought in, you know what I mean? Like that's you can't distinguish it. So you're gonna have these people. You know what I mean? Now the thing is they're just giving.
It falls on the people who are supposed to be protecting or being the barrier if they're letting people in.
Because it's not a small building. On the west side of the building, I believe, is where they were breaking in and doing all this. And on the east side of the building is where the security guards were opening up the doors and waving people in and stuff like that. Because it's a gigantic. It's not, the Capitol's not like a tiny little thing. So that's why it's like a nuanced thing. And now you have literally the same thing happening. And you're like, what a lot of times like people like Colbert are doing is they try to lump in the people who were even on the east side who were doing it peacefully and let in and trying to be like, oh, they're insurrectionists. It's like, dude, your writers just did the same thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like your guys. So that's the reason it's such a big thing. Cause it's like, wow, you guys just walked right into that. Like, so it's one of those things where it's like, you guys should have mercy instead of trying to, cause I'm not sure if you see the thing, like they had, since they're doing like the January 6th things, like Colbert literally made the Muppets like production out of it. If you that's why I need to think
yeah.
he like did the like he like voiced over. It's done very well.
Yeah.
But it's like that's how they're excited about this, and it's like, dude, 95% of the people who were there were let in and didn't know. They weren't breaking stuff. Like, yes, the people who were doing violent things, the people who knew they were
Yeah, there was definitely people breaking in.
Oh,
There was
definitely.
pipe bombs there. There was friggin' Nazis there.
Yeah, no, the people who were there doing, but then there's a ton of people because it's a giant
chanting
protest.
to murder
Dude,
people.
Joe Exotic's like group was there too, trying to get Donald Trump to
Like, yeah,
pardon him,
yeah. Oh, Joe Exotic.
and they got completely overshadowed by everything else. That
I didn't even know he was there.
They got.
They didn't get it
threatened.
anywhere close, but they had an entire truck that was like had his face on it and like was colored like a tiger.
Well, dude, the thing that's crazy is the thing that people don't understand about like the logistics of what happened that day is the people that were actually listening to Trump do his speech were so far away from the people who were breaking in. Like they weren't even the same group of people. Like the people he told to march like over peacefully or whatever when they talk about that weren't the same people, because at the same time there was another group of people who were just breaking into the Capitol.
Yeah.
And what happened is the people broke into the Capitol and the people from the march came and were like, oh, we're allowed in the building. But because of it's politically, advantageous to the left, they're like, no, they stormed over from there and broke in and all that stuff. And it's like,
They all just got mashed together. So
Exactly.
it's just like
Conveniently mashed.
Look,
together.
it's the whole thing just shouldn't have happened.
no, it definitely should. But it's about having nuance and understanding that
they're
some
also
people-
they're also taking what happened though. The media is taking what happened and leveraging it for.
political
they're-
game. They just want to paint it with a big brush, and it's like,
That's also
so if
wrong.
we wanted
Wait, the media is trying to cover something up.
Right.
no, but it just
What?
sucks. It's just one of those things that it's like you sit there and it's like, so now
Well,
people on the right
but
call this
there's-
Colbert insurrection.
Right. Well, there's also the
When it's
thing
like it's
that
obviously
again, not to like just like be recanting all Tim Pool stuff, but like the thing he talks about was on 5/29 when they set fire to like a guard shack that of the White House. Like,
Oh, you're talking about during the BLM riots?
yes,
Yeah,
And,
no,
like,
when they set
literally
fire to the
set
guy and then they
fire-
set fire to that church.
yeah, and
Right.
and
Yeah.
Trump had to be rushed to a bunker. So
And then they
like-
laughed about it on the news.
So the thing
They were
is,
like, he's in his bunker. And it's like one of those things where you're like, if
They
it's
were-
the other way, you guys be freaking out. That's what sucks about it being
It's
so
also,
divided.
yeah, that's
it's just
another
like
reason
a
why I
double.
don't watch the news.
Well, it's just a crazy double standard, man. That it's just like it's so wild to care so much and overblow one side of what they do, and then like another side, like just because they believe different things, like you just let a lot of different things go.
It's
and
about
don't-
painting with a broad brush so that you can have politically advantageous. That's why it's coming back to the beginning. The Joe Biden falling off the bike thing, I get it. It was definitely like funny, but then there's like the malicious side sometimes that comes even from the right where people are like, you idiot, this is whatever. And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, guys,
anything
like,
where did
laugh
they find
at-
the time? What are you doing? Like you just sit there and watch the whole time.
Well, it's one of those things where it's like, I think sometimes people it's like one of those things where it's like, they hope for it. And I'm like, dude, I don't like what Joe Biden's doing. I think he's a criminal. I think he deserves to be in jail. But when an old man falls off a bike, no matter who he is, my first diction isn't, you deserve it, you piece of crap. Like, my first thing is like,
I think regardless of
oh.
what your view is, like
Yeah.
an old guy falls off the bike.
yeah. And it's funny, but then you just see like every single conservative thing was like, and it's like, we're like, that's supposed to be the difference between being like, at least that's how I think of it. If you're like a principled conservative, your thing that I think about it is like, you're trying to be above that. Like, don't bring yourself below that. Cause like when they were doing that stuff about Trump, like it would have been the same thing where they would have been like, if that was Trump that rode up on a bike and then fell over or something like that, it'd be the same thing where it's like, our job is to like, trying to pull people more to the right. Cause I'm like right middle and I don't like the way things are going, I think things have gone too far left where it's like the reason you want to show people like, hey, we can still have fun and it's funny. But like, don't be malicious and be like, I hope he cracked his head open. I hope he, like, you know what I mean? Where it's like, dude, he's still the president. Like, as much as
now you're just being as bad as
exactly,
Right.
don't bring yourself down to that. Like, that's the thing that I can't stand is the fact that it's like, that people get like super excited about. Like, it's funny in a way, but like all of a sudden when it's like everything, I'm like, dude, our food supply is going to total crap. You know what I mean? Like, you see the things that are going on. People are like, the president fell off a bike.
Like, Well, I need food.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I just think about that kind of stuff. I don't know. So that's why I don't know. That just all comes full circle. And then what's it called? Something else that I was thinking. Something else that I saw that was interesting. So there was another pedophile bust in Florida. So another pedophile bust. They did it online, and guess what? Another Disney employee was caught up into it. You know what I mean?
Oh,
and
wow.
hold on, I have I think I brought it. I think I have it on my phone. This is what makes it so funny is that there's literally a quote in here. So yeah, here the headline was the New York Post. It says Disney World employee among 12 alleged sexual predators busted in undercover operation. And then down here is the funniest line. Of course, now it's trying to sell me the thing. It said,
Buy it.
so this is what one of the cops said. What would an operation be? Either pornography investigation or predator operation or human trafficking operation without a Disney employee? That was literally from the cop. Like in Florida,
it's that common.
It's that common where they catch a bunch of pedophiles. They're like, all right, raise your hand if you work for Disney. All right, you. Like, what is, dude? It's
wow.
Yeah, Disney needs to do a better job of vetting their employees. Now, I understand. I think this dude was just like a bus driver, but at the same time,
maybe it's more like, oh, you're a pedophile? Welcome aboard.
Welcome to Disney.
It could be one of those things where, like, and I'm not defending the person. I'm just saying.
Yes, you are.
Like,
Everyone point.
John's a pedophile.
No, that's such a horrible. Please take it like that. No, dude. But I think that's honestly, dude.
no,
That's like the worst thing.
It could be like it's like that. What was it in Horrible Bosses where Charlie Day's character was like it was like at 2:00 in the morning and he had to go to the bathroom and it went to a playground and did it.
Oh yeah.
No, of course.
Like it always could be like some little thing like that kind of always goes under the radar. But if you really dig into it, and then you'll find it. You know.
No, there's
like I said, I'm not defending it. I'm just saying it could be just one of those things as to why it didn't like pop up right away.
Yeah, no. Well, it's just one of those things where people get caught up, into certain things. Like I know someone who, they were, I think, 19, and they were living in Florida, and I think they were selling weed, and the cops knew they were selling weed, but they couldn't bust him.
Yeah.
So when they busted him, they couldn't, like, I guess something happened. The weed charges didn't stick. So what they did is they looked through his phone, and his girlfriend at the time was 17 and sent him nudes. So they nailed him on the child born. Yeah, or whatever it was, statutory, whatever. They nailed him. And so now he has to be on a list. You know what I mean? And it's like one of those things where it's like, wow, that sucks. Like you have to call people. And it's like, because the cops were pissed and they were like, you know what? Oh, we can't get you for weed, but your girlfriend's 17. She sent you nudes. So sometimes people get caught up, but I don't think that's what happened with this guy. And that's not normally what happens. It's just Disney's just, I think, willing to exploit a lot of employees. And so there's a lot of people who are just like, I can't get a job. And Disney's like, will you be in a costume in 100-degree weather?
Yeah. Do you almost have a heat stroke?
Yeah. Will you have a heat stroke and touch little kids? And they're like, well, there's heat stroke with the kids. Yeah. I love Disney. And you have to think about it. There's, this is the one little break that I do give them. If you're a pedophile, where are you going to hang? You know what I mean? It's like the ultimate playground. It is. It's the ultimate. There's kids there. Let's be honest. No, you know what I mean? Like it's no
and weird childish adults in their 30s who are still touching Disney for whatever reason.
Yeah, the pedophiles.
Ah,
I like.
You're on to something.
I like this.
Well, liking Disney is one thing. The crazy 30, 35 plus year old women who are like, they're still princesses.
Goran, do you want to talk about the gunk on your head?
No. Got poison ivy.
I have people texting me asking.
I think.
Really?
Is it Rachel?
I think we should discuss it.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
All right, I work in the tree industry, and I was fortunate enough to get poison ivy for the third time.
Sure.
I work in the tree industry.
It's semen.
Listens on with this.
He was talking about the bird crap. It hit him in the head, and he didn't tell anybody.
Just figure I own it.
I'll own it. Yeah. No, it's great.
That's all it is.
It looks great. It's a new fashion thing.
Yeah.
People should make this go viral, and that'll be the thing. You just have a big gunk
With my
crap on your head.
Should I zoom in on it?
No, don't zoom in on it.
mole.
I don't think people are that interested in a.
Can she watch? Is this live? Like how is
Yeah,
she?
It's
live.
live, but it
It's
still
on
has a little
YouTube.
bit of a
Delay. There's
delay,
probably like
so-
a 3-minute delay or something.
yeah.
Let's
So
see if this works. Hi, Rachel. If you can hear me and you're seeing this, text me back saying hi.
oh, she will. She was texting me the last show, but I have my phone in my pocket. She was like, "Why don't you answer me?" I was like, "Oh, I'm in a podcast.
So
I didn't even
demanding.
notice."
Busy being a big podcast man.
Yeah, Rachel's so demanding. She's
Yeah.
Have fun with that conversation.
Rachel
Yeah.
and Greenspan Keith is super demanding. You're welcome.
Oh. Wow. What's
Hey,
the,
you forgot the other part of it.
Concordia. Sorry. Sorry.
Or this one.
Yes, let's just randomly go through the sound effects. Let's not use them strategically.
Nope. Goran asked.
Why don't we? Yeah, why don't we just do the 12-minute drum thing? That,
Oh yeah.
What?
the dumb drum thing that has the foot. Here it goes.
And then it just keeps going for no reason.
Why?
John's like
Why?
I was into that.
I cut it off.
specifically to entertain
But
John.
out of all the things, like the other things are all like super specific radio things, and then one is just like, yeah, just this guy played drums for a little bit.
Sure.
Most basic thing ever. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, so
there we go.
Disney and your children. It's probably not a good idea. The Buzz Lightyear thing came out with the gay kiss or whatever. That
Who's
people
he
are freaking-
kissing? What?
Is
It's not, no, it's not him. He'd say it's not Buzz Lightyear. Doesn't have a gay kiss. I think one of his like partners in it. And of course, everyone like supposedly it flopped. I don't know. It's the first day, but people are saying it's flopped. And then, of course, they're saying like the kiss adds absolutely nothing to the movie. Like it got, yeah, it's just one of
That's
those
gay.
things.
Kiss. Who gives
Yeah.
a shit?
No, exactly. But it's
Yeah.
also one of those things where it's like I get why people get upset when it doesn't add anything to anything. Like
If it's anything that, yeah, if it's anything irrelevant that doesn't like add to the plot, or it's like to the story or to the exposition or the character development, she said hi, and then yeah, that's just.
Are you watching Stranger Things?
Yes.
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 All right. Spoiler alert. You got a couple seconds because I'm about to start talking about Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Five,
We all
four.
caught up.
3,
Yeah.
2, 1. All right. So Stranger Things.
So really quick, I thought Eddie was gonna be Eddie Van Halen. Then I realized what year it was, and I'm like, that's not gonna add up.
Oh, that'd be funny though.
Yeah, but I had
Oh.
I kind of like thought
Wait,
I was like,
why wouldn't it add up?
doesn't it take place in '84?
No, 86.
No.
Of last season?
No, it's 86.
It's mid
86.
mid '80s.
Yeah, they were around.
Van Halen was already Van Halen.
Yes.
So
he was already by then. He was playing solos for Michael Jackson.
right.
So
All right, I don't need a
Yeah.
discography. I just,
Anyways, yeah. So we get it. It's not. He's not
Alright.
Eddie Van Halen. He's Eddie.
I'm still getting it out.
But that'd be funny because yeah, I know I didn't even think about the guitar thing, and that's so.
Yeah, I like the hair. I was like, but it was the mid. Yeah, it was already happening.
Maybe
But-
it's. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I was gonna say maybe that's the whole thing is like he's a big fan of Eddie Van Halen. So
Yeah.
it's like the whole. Yeah.
That little twist at the end of part 1 was I guess you call it a twist, but for number 1,
Yeah. Nipple twist.
Eh.
Yeah. The part where they nipple twist 11. That's weird.
Whoa.
are we
I
watching
don't know
the same show?
why. Wait, is that not? Oh, that's the other thing.
Oh no, you're watching that Disney thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Disney. No. What was I gonna say? Oh, so going back to Stranger Things.
Yeah.
That's one of the things where, all right. So there's the gay characters in that, which are obviously Will and the girl, right?
Yeah, well, Will hasn't. Will, it's
Will's
not
gay.
official.
It's
but like,
official.
I'm pretty sure it's been implied.
Yes. Super.
Yeah.
Rachel said she watched the first one, and there's actually a bunch of times where they call him gay, and you don't even realize. And she was like rewatching
Who
it.
calls me gay?
I guess the friends just joking
Like
with
to
him
make
and stuff.
fun, like making
To
fun,
like tease him and
like-
stuff.
Yeah,
And so
like
like
using it as a yeah.
yeah, so maybe that's where they got it from or something. But to me,
But no, but it was from in season 3 when what got me was when not got me, but what made me realize like, oh, he actually might be gay was when him and Mike were talking on the front porch.
I thought it was when they're having sex.
Yeah, was
That's
that-
what I was like.
Was
That's
that
what I was
blowjob
like. I
not
think
gay?
he's gay. Like when Mike and him were doing it, and it was like, yeah,
Yeah.
you might
Pretty
be
sure
gay.
that blowjob was
Sure.
pretty gay.
Go ahead. Sorry, it's a dumb joke.
didn't know this aired on Cinemax.
This is the Disney version.
We've been over this.
No, they were talking on his porch, and like Mike was talking about like how like we're not like little kids anymore, like we're growing, like we're getting older. We start to like we have girlfriends, and like as soon as Mike said that, like Will's head popped up and like was sad, and like it was kind of like imply where like they know, but it hasn't really come out on screen yet. And
no one said it yet, but it's been
Yeah.
very implied, especially with this season where Will has been completely useless and just stares at
Well,
Mike the whole time.
he's just like that one preppy jock guy has more screen time than Will. And like if you think about it too, like
oh, go ahead.
sorry, yeah, if you think about it from season 1 up until season 3, like Will was an integral part into what got them into this entire mess. Like Will was the one that got infected, for lack of a better word, and dragged them to all of them to the upside down, brought them all together, like all that stuff. It was all because like the demigorgons, whatever you want to call them, came in from the upside down and took Will, and now he's just has a bowl cut.
He just a bowl cut, and he's sitting there staring at Mike like
The haircut sucks so
Yeah.
bad.
that's the whole thing. He just sits. He
All
sits
right,
there and
so
just stares at Mike.
It's a bad haircut because he's older.
Oh,
So
he's
it's
so-
just like
It sucks, man. So many of
Like-
those kids they
Yeah.
pawned, I think, to be good looking as they got older, and only Lucas.
like they
is
have to
good-looking.
make him.
Yeah, like Mike looks. I was telling
Oh,
Rachel.
11 looks fine.
No, of course, 11. That's a girl. I'm talking about as the boys. Like
Alright.
I think you know what I mean. Like
Well,
normally they try and look and they
all
try and get him.
number.
Like Mike just turned into what I would say a live action version of Jack Skellington. He's so skinny and so
I know,
weird.
He's
looking.
like lanky.
He's such a
just, like,
weird-looking
yeah,
kid.
He had a huge growth spurt. Yeah.
He's funny and I like him, but I think if he were to be cast now, like if they were to see him, I don't think Hollywood would look at him twice. And then the same thing with.
Yeah, he's a big musician too. Like
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, he did. He did a cover of.
So was Dustin.
Yeah,
He's in a band too.
yeah. He was in a Green Day music video.
Dustin looks like a missing member of the Malashevsky family. Let's be honest.
Yes.
He really does. We were like, this is Dustin Malashevsky.
Yeah,
Not that anybody knows who that is, but
Yeah.
They do.
But one time we'll have Keith on and we'll put a picture next to once this gets more advanced, we'll put a picture and you guys can decide if
Yeah.
it's Keith.
They were
But
relatives.
But yeah, what was I gonna say? So anyways, getting back to what I was saying about the Buzz Lightyear thing, people are like, oh, it doesn't add anything to the story. And so the thing that I'm actually more upset with is the fact, like you said, now it's like Will has been just turned now, I feel like, into the gay quivering character that's like, oh, I didn't do anything and stuff. Like he hasn't
Well, I know. I hope he has like. I hope in part 2, like he's gonna
he
have.
does something.
Yeah, like I'm not blaming him. It's just like right now, his character's just written to not be that involved.
Well, you can tell now, like before, like they didn't write everything out. Like they've been making this as they've gone. Like if they did that, you would know, like right now with like the
Yeah,
11.
like part 2 was just finished recently.
Yeah, like with 11, you wouldn't have they wouldn't have had to do the thing where it was like big girl, little girl. They would have just filmed it when she was a little girl and
Right,
did it
right.
instead of having to do the face projection stuff, which is fine. I'm not blaming them for it. But at the
No,
same
no.
time, you can tell with the writing of Will where it's like where's Will's like neck itch thing? Like where's like
Yeah.
he should know it's back. Like when it comes
Right,
back in the
right.
world, he knows.
Right.
Like you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's not much consistency.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Will has been totally flawed, and it's like, is that because like the thing? So this is my thing,
think
and
it's-
don't take this as hate anybody in the LGBTQ IP, but I feel like they're
We're
more
all
focused.
allies.
Yeah, I feel like they're more
Truly, I mean that.
they're more willing of him being like gay than it is like, hey, what happened to Will? Like you know what I mean? Like Will needs
Right.
to figure out something, but then there's a part of me that's like, I hope they don't try and just make this about being gay, because like there's two things that I see. I think Will or 11's gonna die. And I think what's going to
11.
happen,
They're not gonna call up 11.
you never know if they end the whole thing. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
But I-
yeah. I mean, this is yeah.
But so to me, the thing that I think is going to happen, the more plausible thing, is that Will gives himself up because he's gay. He's not getting reciprocated love. And so at some point, there's going to be, they need a distraction or something, and Will's going to let himself be killed because he can't have Mike. You know what I mean? Like that's
if
what
it's if it's Mike that he wants, then
No, that's
yeah,
definitely
But
who
I
he
don't think it'll
wants.
be because like he's gay.
No, but that's what I mean, because it's like it's the whole thing is like it's the 80s. Mike's not reciprocating. He like you can tell it's Mike's the guy he's in love with. He's the person he has feelings for in the character. So I think that's where they're gonna go, which that will be good. But if they do the other thing, which I really hope they don't, which the LGBT community will freak out because they'll be like, oh, it's a great story. But I think other people will be kind of pissed off. Is if 11 dies and then Will and Mike are all of a sudden like, now we can be together. And you're like, dude, Mike was never gay.
They're not going to do that.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do that.
But they might. You never know if wokeism has its thing.
Nah, just because the possibilities out there doesn't mean it's probable.
No, yeah, no, Mike's not gay. And then, no,
I know Mike's not gay, but if they do it that
wouldn't
way,
do that.
It might be like,
know.
it might be something like that. And then like Will tries to make a move on Mike and then they get into a big argument.
I don't see Will
Like
being
that, but
liking Mike. I think it was just a best friend type of thing where like you start to drift apart, especially if they're moving to a different state or moving to a different town.
no, he's definitely gay for Mike. There's
And then-
absolutely no doubt about
I mean, well,
oh yeah, he's gay for Mike.
that.
you think so?
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I was just gay in general.
It'd be funny if he just came out. in the
well,
next
he's not
one.
even out yet. So yeah, he's not even out yet. I don't want to just assume
It's not soon.
but
They infer it. They infer it.
they do,
They
but
infer it, but we're living in 2022 where like it's people instinctively right in.
People just want to
just
force it
for
in, like the
the-
girl being, like
yeah, just for the
the
image of
Steve
it.
Harrington girl being gay. I don't see how that adds to the plot at all. She could just not be into Steve. She doesn't have to be gay. Like, you know what I mean?
I honestly think she wouldn't have been into Steve anyway.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Regardless of her sexuality, I think she just
Wasn't
wasn't
Steve
going to
into
be
her?
Yeah,
into
because
Steve.
they don't blend together.
Wasn't
Exactly.
Steve into her, though?
I think it was more Steve into
that-
her at first, and I think now they're more kind of teasing you with him and Nancy getting back together,
Yeah.
Yes,
which
yes.
I don't
I think-
know if
I
it's going to
think it's-
happen yet because she hasn't even seen Jonathan yet. So I think once they all reunite, there's going to be that awkward tension. But
A
you know,
devil's threesome.
yeah. He was in the Upside Down,
I watched that.
so
No, but seriously, I think I just hate it when it's like that thing it's pushed, because that's the thing where it's like, dude, I don't care if you're gay, but then all of a sudden when you're like it's like watching Bugs Bunny, and then all of a sudden it's like they do the whole everything, and then at the end it's like they're like dun, 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 I'm gay. Like it didn't add to anything. Like why?
wait
Like
a minute.
why are we forcing this into there? Like no one cares. Like I don't know. It's
I think it's just they just want to make it a more regular thing, like more normal. Like it's just it's out there. It's normal. It's that it's.
But there's also percentages,
it.
and I think it's like especially in the 80s, it's like I think like 5% of people are gay or something like that. So it's like 1 out of 20 characters gay, not like, you know what I mean? That's how I look at it. Where it's
Yeah,
like,
but 1
let's
out of
have
20 is. Oh yeah, never mind. Right.
let's just have a realistic, you know what I mean? And let's have it mean something to the story, because guess what? They're kids. Who cares about their sexuality with 90% of things? Like the Steve Harrington, and what's her name, Nancy and
Yeah.
Jonathan love triangle thing that's happening. That's cool. It adds to it. There's romance. There's stuff in there. You know what I mean? Like
Well, that's why I think Will needs to be he needs to be more involved.
Will
He's
definitely.
I mean, that's something to, like. No, I don't think. I mean, the sexuality of any character doesn't have anything to do with their friggin' storyline unless it's written in. But I mean, Will. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
might,
just
it
don't
might
like
seem
that
a little,
Will.
might be a little shoehorned in for Will. The stuff with the chick who's gay and who doesn't like Steve makes sense.
I don't think it makes sense at all.
I think it does because
Where, what? in
because
what
it cuts off the romance, and then they can just be like a partner duo.
But you don't need that. That's
Yeah.
the thing. Like
But they
John
work.
was saying,
But they work well as that.
They were so different already that you didn't need her to be like, oh, I'm gay, I'm not into you. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
Right, but if she was gonna be like, I'm not into him, like I'm just not into you,
Well, I think it was
it's not like Steve would back
yeah,
off.
I think it was like
in the reality of it.
what was it, season 3 or season 2 where she was introduced? I forget which season. But when they were like tied up in that room was it in the
Yeah.
bathroom or like in a
Yeah.
something?
Yeah,
Yeah,
or
and they were
whatever.
like finally where she like it like came out and
Mhm.
everything. Like I think she just wasn't sure how to like tell him. But like I said, she wasn't gonna. I don't think she was gonna be into him regardless. I don't even think he was barely into her.
Yeah.
I think there was just like something there. I think they just had to get their feelings out, regardless of what it was.
They had to work
with what
together.
they were going
Yeah.
right, because what they were going through, and what they've been going through now, and now they're like definitely
I think they're closer because of that.
I just-
right.
To me, I just sit there, and if I say I was gay, and I'm not, but maybe if I would just sit there, it's like, I don't need, it's like being the token black guy. It's like the token gay person, where it's like they threw what's her name in, which feels token, and then Will feels like he could be like, you know, like it could matter in the storyline, but if it doesn't, and they literally just have this huge section where Will's like, and then it just goes back to normal. I'm gonna be like, why? Like, just don't make it token. Please make it add to the story. Make it make sense. Like,
I feel bad for his character, honestly.
of course, no, you feel bad. You feel bad for him because it's like one of those things where it's like it's unreciprocated.
Well, no, it's
Him and Mike aren't as close anymore, and
yeah,
that sucks. They were
yeah.
best friends.
right. That's where I feel bad. Like his whole. This is just a Stranger Things podcast now,
Yeah.
and like his whole best friends, his whole life was just like ripped apart, and now he like doesn't talk to his friends. Like all of his other friends are still going to the same school and all that, and he's just there alone. But we don't get to hear from him. Like he doesn't. There was like one scene where he had an actual monologue,
Yeah,
but I'm very excited.
like it'd be more exciting if he
Part
fell off a
two.
bike.
Yeah.
That's the thing I was
What's
saying. I was just bringing back the Biden thing where it's like because I literally can't think of anything. He like at least give him the like, dude, when they did the thing with the pen with Mike with the pen, why wasn't that Will? That was a Will thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They gave that to Mike where I'm like,
Well,
Mike,
even like you said, the neck twitch or something. Just like
he's done nothing.
something. Yeah.
It pissed me off because I
Yeah,
feel like
they're really lame to scare.
Either they're like saving something up.
why do you think I just said that's what I'm
Or-
scared of? I feel like it's the fist of like, oh, we're gonna
Yeah.
ram.
I mean,
home
this is
little-
like this is the penultimate season. So I mean, there is a whole season 5. So they could bring it back around.
the whole 5th season just wills out.
It's just
Wake me up before you go. It's like he's wearing all like the 80s stuff and he's shopping with 11 and and Max and he's like, your hair.
He still has the bowl cut.
He still has the bowl cut and he's like, I own it.
He does own it. Probably the only
His
person
hair's just pink now.
still semi look good with the bowl.
You know what I thought was weird too? You know what I'm gonna say? I think the worst part besides that is the what? The worst thing is the Russian thing is a little weak. It's really weird, like them going over there and like
Yeah, I just want Hopper to be back in the picture.
yeah, and him like
I
breaking
think
out.
he was badass.
Oh, no, he
he's
was, he
definitely
was.
bad.
Yeah.
No, but has anyone noticed Hopper is my dad from back in the day? He's a cop. He's a Vietnam vet. He talks about Agent Orange. I'm sitting there. I'm like,
I didn't think about that.
yeah, no, so
Now I
many
will.
things, dude. My dad drove that exact truck. like while he was a cop. Like I sit there and dude, me and Rachel were at the lake. And somebody stopped us, looked at me, and said, "You remind me of Hopper."
Oh.
Literally, someone stopped us. So yeah, it's weird. So things are getting a little weird.
Like, wait a minute.
Yeah, things
Am
are
I
getting a
just
little
turning into him?
stranger.
Oh, look at you. Your poison ivy.
Yep, still there.
I'm sorry.
Look at you. It looks like an Oompa Loompa came on your forehead.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was thinking of something for a while. The bird poop one was the closest one I could get, but
Yeah.
that one was better.
I didn't know we had a podcast attire. I want to bring it up again. So dressed exactly how someone who's doing a podcast should be
Well,
dressed.
I think both of you guys are
prepared.
because you're wearing the sweatshirt with
Got
like
the hoodies.
drawstring. Yeah.
Yeah.
Vinny's the
That's
one
true.
that's a little underdressed.
I just wore
Way
a
to go,
blanket.
Vinny.
got the hat.
You're usually the one who has a sweatshirt at all times.
Yeah, no, I do. My sweatshirt's literally over there,
He took it off.
but it's too hot, so in the house. Yeah,
Not
so-
outside.
No, not outside. Yeah, let's talk about the weather in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Over here, it is warm, and but how long have we been going?
About an hour.
Just an hour. Wow, it went by quick. Yeah, I don't really know what else. Anyone else got anything else they're thinking about came up? Because that
Mhm.
I burned through the things I thought about and wanted to bring up because I didn't want to be too political because I know John doesn't really follow the news.
Mm.
So I was
Don't.
more in like the stupid area, and
Yeah, I
we
just-
ruined Stranger Things for lots of people. What else could we
Let's
do?
let's
Kinda.
ruin Obi-Wan for everyone.
Obi-Wan.
No, I
It's,
guess.
I
still
like
gotta rewatch it.
I like it. I mean, I don't.
I haven't seen it.
I don't know.
I saw the first 2 episodes. It's pretty good.
I haven't seen it.
I'm not saying anything about it.
I haven't seen it.
All right.
I'm not saying anything
I
about
will-
it. I'm just
yeah,
saying it's good. You should
It's,
definitely watch it.
yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna rewatch it. So
Yeah. It's
you should
it's
watch
good.
it.
You should watch it.
Watch it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Is there what else? Anything? What is going on? Is there anything in the news? Anything that's happening that I can't? I can honestly. That's why I write things out. Just
I
in
can
case
go
I'm
on
done.
Twitter and we can.
Go.
There you go. When
Yeah,
in
if we
doubt.
want to keep
Twitter it
things
out.
going.
Well, I
Hold on.
think, man, it's worth discussing, like, because I mean, at least us.
More gay characters. Yeah. What about all these?
This
I was-
gay pandemic is getting
this,
crazy.
this pandemic of gay characters.
Gay-demic.
Gay, damn it. How dare you?
Yeah. Last time Mike was talking about false facts. I still think that's a funny idea.
Oh yeah.
False fag attacks.
Ooh, here's a science one. Do we all?
Ooh, science.
Yeah, I know it's tough.
Follow the science. Trust the science.
Scientists, plural, like general scientists, discover a multi-planet system just 33 light years away.
Oh, only 33 light years away.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just in case anyone didn't know, 1 light year is like 1,000,000 miles.
Let's send Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, just a hop, skip, and a jump away.
You know what? Can we talk
All right.
about?
Should we go into the whole
What?
life outside of this planet kind of talk? Is that where you're going with it?
No, I was just gonna read the
Go on.
article.
All right, go
No.
ahead.
Asshole, you fucking ruined it.
You know what? Never mind.
Shit.
Yeah, you know what? There
Shit
isn't a
article.
multi-planet system that's 33 light years away.
Scientist.
It means the same regardless if you really think
Yeah,
about it.
right. Doesn't mean anything
Yo.
else.
I saw a thing.
I just wanted to read if it was what kind of planets were there. Like, I can do that on my own.
Mercurius, Venus,
Uranus.
Uranus, yeah.
water planet.
Neptunus. Yeah, water.
No, who said?
This one's
So,
too far
What I
away.
would like to talk about is the first thing when I clicked on this ad, clicked on the article, was a bunch of ads. I can't stand it. I hate ads. I
Rob,
hate commercials.
Rob, what
I think
browser do you
commercials
use?
these days are the most unnecessary thing ever. They suck now. Commercials used to be good. Like, you can remember the plug it in thing. Plug it in, plug it in. Like, that's in your head.
Hot pocket.
You know, it's an air freshener commercial. The Hot Pockets. All right, all these
Geico
things.
was funny.
AG
Like,
Wentworth.
yeah.
877 cash now.
Yeah.
Well, I think that
Now
part.
it's just like it's
Dude,
a mini movie.
I was just saying that the other
for
day.
jeans. I don't care.
I was just saying that the other day. They should have like Super Bowl level commercials as far as the writing goes for like all the commercials we were watching on Hulu. Mike,
I hope this is on camera.
it's not. Remember, I think I mentioned that to you, where we were watching like 150 seconds or so of like ads in the middle of our show.
Yeah.
I was like, could these at least be funny? Could at least be like worth?
They're just
watching?
not even like, it makes me not even want to buy
And
the
it's the same
products.
one. It's the same.
Or even
person.
remotely interested in the product that they're trying to sell.
Well, you were saying like things are like stories. Like it's like an old man, and then it flashes back to like World War II, and he's like being
Yeah.
blown up, and then all of a
There's
sudden
like
he
one
like sees
quick
his
scene
wife.
of his shoe.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh great, it's
And
a
then-
fucking sneakers commercial.
Yeah, exactly. And then all of a sudden it's like Levi's. You know,
Yeah.
What?
Like,
How does World War II and this Levi? It doesn't even
Yeah.
make sense. Yeah. No.
I
Or,
just-
or it would be like IBM. And you're like, what?
tampons. How?
Yeah,
Yeah. No. That's
they don't make them like
dumb.
they used to.
There's also I think a lot of times
They're
there's
too long.
like I was saying, the wokeness is a cancer on lots of things. It's either that or it's like same thing with things where it's like, here's me and my black trans gay super friend, and you're like, dude, I just you're trying to sell me pants. Like I don't care what anyone's sexuality is. It's a commercial. Like
Good for you. That's awesome. Just
just
I'm here for
Just
one.
give me my M&Ms, man.
yeah. I've
I
said it
don't care.
before. To me, it's the equivalent of when you were in college or high school, and the one dude who's just always like, pussy man. Yeah, it's the same. It's the same thing, except for it's just gay now. So butthole. I'm really into a butthole, and it's all I think about. You're
Yeah,
like, dude, is there anything
docking is
else
my
to your
shit.
personality? Like, I don't care. Like, I don't.
I'm glad somebody heard that.
That's what's upsetting. If anything is too one dimensional, it's like let's push everything. It's kind of like what killed sports and stuff like that, where it's like the BLM stuff just kept, and people are like, I supposedly in soccer they're like still kneeling for it and stuff, and you're like, dude,
Oh yeah,
a
yeah.
certain
Before
ti-
every game,
at a certain point, like
there's no room for racism. Which of
Yeah.
course, I don't mean to interrupt, but
should have never brought up soccer.
well, you
Oh,
just
no, here we go. FIFA.
you know that.
I let the
No,
genie
no,
out.
no,
Can't
no.
put it back.
Speaking of
Not going there.
advertisements,
Rubbed it too hard.
It's not going there. Do you know the thing that I always say about the no room for racism?
No, don't get us canceled, please.
Yeah, careful.
Yeah, no.
Okay. Anyways, back to the show,
There's
and good thing we don't have
definitely
anything
no
to
room.
return to either.
No room for it.
So yeah,
Nope.
ads are dumb. That's what it was.
Yes, ads.
Yes.
I don't. They're just pointless. These days.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
too long. They're like 3 minutes long of just nothing.
They're worthless. Yeah, they don't do anything. Brought to you by Gatorade. Pro Stupid, sponsored by Gatorade. Everyone, if you are
of our-
thirsty and you want something,
Drink
buy a
some
Gatorade
aborted
and
fetus cells.
do pro.
this is the best soda in the world.
iPhone.
money me now. No, but seriously, that's the things that I think people
grinds my gears.
Oh, that's why I think before I had an idea a long time ago. I was like, I wonder if YouTube, like, we now have so many things. Like, why couldn't YouTube figure out like a thing where it's like when a commercial comes on, instead, if you paid a certain amount of money, it would interrupt it with like parts of YouTube videos that you liked or something like that.
Yeah, they're pushing that way too hard, like the YouTube Premium. I know this is on YouTube, but
Whatever, dude, YouTube can take criticism.
They're pushing the whole thing way too hard, and they're just throwing ads in the middle of videos. Like, any type of video you're watching. Like, they're just.
I was actually.
They already got me early. I already have premium.
I paid for it. Yeah,
I was about to get it, and then they were like, "You know how much it costs?
How much?
How much do you pay for it?
$12.99.
Yeah, I'm like
$17 a month.
Wait, is there a difference between YouTube Red and YouTube Premium? Because I think I have YouTube Red, which blocks out ads. You can play it while your phone's closed. That's all I really use.
Yeah, I have YouTube Premium. I think YouTube Red is just the music. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Regardless, like they're selling it too much. They're just like they want you to get the premium or the red, whatever it is.
They figure out the code. They just know the crap
dumping these ads in the middle of like mid sentence.
Yep.
In the video.
It's exactly it's exactly how those games work, where you need to like pay to get like certain power ups and stuff. Like they just annoy you with the game being hard enough to play without those things. Right. And eventually you're like, fine, whatever. Yeah.
But the commercial, what's it called? The commercials, that's the one thing that TV had down, is like when you wrote like a show, you would have like, all right, and then we'll put our commercial break.
Right.
Because like you knew. And now like
it'd be centered around the cliffhangers.
Yeah, but YouTube doesn't have that. So all of a sudden someone's just like something's happening. It's like a big moment, someone's shooting at someone, and then it just like cuts to a thing, and all of a sudden it's like Febreze. Blah, 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 blah. You walk into your rec room, and then there's just like,
I want to not use Febreze.
Right.
I want to keep everything dirty. Like, go back to my video.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing, is they just want you, just want you to pay the whole.
Yeah, they just annoy you. They don't care. It doesn't have to matter what the topic is of the commercial or where they put it in the video.
Yeah,
they're just gonna keep flooding you with it until you're like,
yeah, it's a numbers game for them, because you got to understand like the advertising they make money from. So they're like, all right, we can do the math, and we'll be like, all right, well, if we so in reality, we're making like $10 every time someone views a video.
Yeah,
via advertising. Let's just say every video is like $10.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, if we have people paying $12 a month, like that's absorbing some of what we would get in advertising revenue.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like taking that monetary stream and I don't know.
I think it's 3 cents per every 1,000 views is what it really is.
I think is that for them, or is it for the people that
as a creator on YouTube? It takes a lot to get paid a fair amount.
Oh yeah, no, it takes a lot.
Oh yeah,
it takes like 2 years to like of consistent content to like get.
No man, dude, that's Tim Pool has like 4,700 videos or something like that. So people just pump them out, man, because you're just every time you just get a couple views. You know what I mean? They're making $40 here, $50 here, stuff like that. They're just trying to pump out to make the money for the day, and then eventually they get sponsors, and eventually they, you know what I mean? They need, like Tim has like the subscription thing. That's like a great thing, and that's how you want to go right now. We're not making any money yet, but it's also.
But hey, still, feel free to like and subscribe.
Yeah, thank you. That was great.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, I'm someone where I sit there and the ads are the whole thing is it's direct money for them. Like the views are like potential, and that's why they invest in people. They put ads on certain videos, stuff like that. When you're just giving them $17, they get enough people there, then it's like, you know what I mean? It's good. That's how they think of it. So they're just trying to annoy you. Like, dude, Rumble. I remember we were going down to Florida and we were trying to watch the one video from Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
And you should subscribe to us on Rumble. That way, in case we ever get canceled, all of our videos will be there. But we were trying to watch Rumble, and literally there was like an 11-minute commercial inside of a 7-minute video. And we were like, yep, this is why this is Rumble right now, because they don't understand. We were trying to watch like a stupid Charlie Kirk video, and Goran in the middle of it was like, I give up. And I was like, dude, we were like 7 minutes through the commercial. Why did you give up? I was like, we already went past like the point of no return. But yeah, they were just like putting, some crazy story thing. But that's what I'm saying. 11-minute commercial. What are we doing?
Why? No, I think a commercial shouldn't be more than.
Well, I think it's because like with the normal commercials and TV shows, you have a half-hour allotment slot for the show or an hour,
Right.
So you only have so much time to play with to fit in the other ads.
I think it's 21 minutes.
with
normally. It's like
videos.
21, 22 minutes, which is crazy. That means
Dude,
9
with
minutes.
videos,
Yeah.
they know we're going to keep watching more and more videos after that. That's just how the internet works nowadays. So they don't care.
Yeah. No, it's definitely one of those things. It's just one of those things that's hard to get away from. Dude, that's like football now.
Right.
You can't. Football is, they now play ads while the game's going on. They do picture in picture.
No, it's that
That pisses me off.
And that.
It's like, I already
And they
watched
make the football screen
small.
smaller and make the ad screen bigger.
Yeah.
Take up more of the like, oh my god.
I think it's because they're just selling too much ad space. So they're like, we told Geico we'd run it 6 times.
Well, the sponsors are paying us more than the
That
fat
costs
people at
enough
home
money.
watching the game.
But that's what I'm saying. Someone should make a technology that like an AI that's like, oh, this is a commercial, and just switch it over to like YouTube videos that you like. Because I'd rather watch, part of a Joe Rogan thing or part of something like that. And then as soon as it goes back, it's like, because then you'd be like, oh, okay, I'm watching Joe Rogan talk about this. Oh, back to the game. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like kind of like you're switching between channels. So because people, I remember people when I was younger, that was like the thing where you have picture in picture.
Yeah.
And someone would be watching like a game and there'd be like a movie. And then as soon as the commercial came on, they would switch
Oh, yeah.
to the other
Right.
thing.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
now
right.
you don't need that. You could have a computer that just does that,
Right.
and it could be a YouTube video.
Yeah, but
Watch,
they don't
I'm
make,
pro- I'm
but why
probably-
would they make money off
They're
the YouTube
going to
video,
make
though?
this, and I'm going to lose a bunch of money. 'Cause,
There's no product, though. Unless, like, Joe Rogan's like, all right, like,
it could
put
be
my videos in.
it could be every single Joe Rogan video that's ever been on YouTube.
That's if
It
he
could be
agrees
every-
to it.
What? No, they own it. As soon as you put your stuff up, they own it, man.
I'm just saying, like, there's no product for them to make money off of necessarily.
What are you doing?
Itchy.
He's itching.
Yeah.
No, they would sell the They would sell the thing, so you would buy the service of them doing that for like.
So it'd be for
$5
like,
a
an
month.
ad for Spotify or something.
Yeah, and then it'd just be like,
Right.
instead of that, it would just be like, boop, and just switch over to,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Because I think about that, like, we have the advancements of doing things like that. And, like, how does that not exist?
We have the advancements to do a lot.
True.
Right?
No, yeah. No, dude. The thing, see, that's why I get political, because things in this country could be really good if the government just got out of the way. And that's the thing. It's true. If they just got out of the way.
I know.
It's so
but-
frustrating.
I'm laughing because it's not going to happen.
Oh, of course not. No, that's the whole thing. That's one of the most frustrating
Take it
things.
away.
No, that's why I'm a libertarian, where I sit there and people are like, let's argue over gay marriage. And I'm like, how about the state doesn't get involved in marriage?
Yeah.
And people are like, but I'm like, dude,
How would you solve Pennsylvania's friggin' roller coaster weather?
solve the weather.
Yeah.
I solved the weather.
You did it.
Moved to Florida. I figured it out.
Yeah.
No, then there's hurricanes. Oh, man.
Texas. Move to Texas.
Tornadoes.
Not nearly as many as.
Mexicans.
Like-
No.
Put a man on put humans
you're
on
right.
Mars and stop worrying about gay marriage. How about that?
There's so many things that
I don't
people
think we need
just
to go to
don't.
Mars.
We don't need to worry about gay marriage either.
I'm just saying we're doing a shit job on Earth.
I just think of it like this, where it's like, yeah, I'm a Christian.
We don't need a second planet.
I'm a Christian. I don't think Christians should get gay married because that's not their definition of married. But if you're not Christian and you're gay and you want to get married, go for it. Like, that's how I think of it. Because it's like, that's why I'm a libertarian. It's like, you do you, I do me. We're both happy.
Be
Why
res-
do I care?
Be respectful about it.
Yeah, why do I care if my next door neighbors in the privacy of their own home are doing each other in the butt? Wow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
People do whatever they want as long as it's not hurting other people.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
That's one of the things that's so frustrating, is that people can't do that. And then you have, you know what I mean, you have people on the left who are all about it, but then you also have people on the right where I sit there and I look at it and I'm just like, you guys want to get so involved in other people's lives. And it's like, I look at the example of Jesus, where it's like, yeah, say that if you want to say like gay marriage is wrong, and I think gay marriage is wrong because God, like, in the Bible says that it's wrong, and that's what I believe. You're allowed to say that. But then to just be like, but I'm gonna ban you from being gay married. It's like Jesus didn't go
Right,
around.
You're not going to
stopping-
go around. Yeah. Like,
Jesus didn't
that's
go
where
around
it's
stopping people
wrong.
from sinning. He just went, that's a
Right.
sin. All right. Do you want to follow me? No. All right. See you later.
You
Like,
have-
you know what I mean?
right.
That's how I think of it. That's why libertarianism to me makes more sense than being like, oh, we need to ban this or we need to ban that. It's like the
I mean,
government.
you have your religion, you respect it. Other people it's just don't go around just pushing it down people's throats and just hurting these people because of your own personal beliefs.
Well,
But
the way
then,
that I
but then
think
that
of it-
goes the other way, because then they're
No, exactly. That's why
they're
it's
like
a two-way
they're
street.
like, oh, it's all about pride, and then we have to like make sure every single person knows that like that's the first thing that comes out of my mouth when I meet someone.
That's what I mean. That's why we have
Yeah,
it's
it's like
Pride Month, and it's like, dude,
Way too much invested into identity.
Like, and then you have like Black History Month, where you're like, well, Black history is American history. Do we really need to? And especially also, why do we give them like? Come on, we gave them February. That's messed up.
It's my birthday.
It's my birthday month too, but it's
Yeah.
the smallest month. Does that mean? Wait, does that mean we're black?
Crappiest.
No.
Well,
No comment.
Wait, hold on a second.
Go get
Can I
Gina.
say it?
I don't want to
Go
get.
get Gina.
I'm not getting
Ask
canceled.
her.
Go get Gina. We have to. You just made me think of a segment called "Ask a Black Person."
And it's
Where
just
you just
Gina.
ask them, and then they're just like, "Yeah," like just like immediately, like, "Why are you asking?
Like,
me? I'm just a person. Why
Why am I here?
why am I here?" Hold on, is that okay? No, yes, no. Just-
Are you sure?
Oh, wait, that's right.
Should I say it? Should I say it?
Just
Should I say it?
no.
Am I allowed to say? No, I said it. I shouldn't have said it.
Oh, it's a dog phone.
No. What else are we talking about? Ads, other things. I think we're spiraling out a little bit, unless people got other ideas or things they want to talk about.
I didn't prep, and I was working.
What? No, you're fine, man. I'm the one who had the thing. We just went through them real fast because
Yeah.
it just happened. John had the space thing. I don't know. There's
Well, I was gonna get into that, but then the ads ruined it, and you didn't really seem interested.
No, go on.
No,
I have a thing that's
I think it'd be cool. I mean, to discover the fact that we were able to discover it is pretty wild.
well, that's if space is real.
Yes, I agree.
Don't look up.
Tell it to me straight. Do you think there's life on Earth?
See, I sit there.
I was watching.
You look kind of
No, go
like
ahead.
a rat with glasses.
I was watching Pete Holmes' special, and
You literally just took the thing that I was going to say. That's so weird.
really,
Yeah, the thing where he talks about the molecules.
well, there's that.
Yeah, where
And
he's like, these
he's like-
molecules are like, I'm Pete. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
yeah. And he's like, you're in America. Like, you're on a planet. You think you're in America? Zoom out.
Yeah, exactly. No, exactly. It just, dude, that was so good.
Yeah.
I laughed so, it was
Yeah.
like, zoom out. He was like,
Yeah.
everything's made of molecules. Everything. I'm
Yeah.
made of molecules. The air between us. He's like, this bunch of molecules says, I'm Pete.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's
And when
so
we
true.
ask scientists why our finger, like why my
Carbon.
hand doesn't go through the stool, you know what they say? We don't know. It doesn't make sense.
Oh, dude, that's actually one of my. I always wanted to do that for stand up, but I felt like it might be too highbrow, or not highbrow, but one of those things where you might just lose the audience. Where it's the idea that like a rapist getting off because he proves that atoms don't ever actually touch. Like, you know what I mean? Because no, atoms never touch. If they do, they explode. That's where we get like nuclear
Well,
explosions.
I'm sure he. I'm not gonna. No, I didn't. No.
Go on.
No, but that's one of my. That's one of the ideas that I have. Like,
Andrew.
it would be like some rapist just being like, just getting his scientific cap on and be like, actually, I never touched her. And just being like, as you can see, atoms don't touch. So technically, you know what I mean? Just going into that and just the judge being like, he's just some judge.
Like,
Oh, well, technically.
By the process of atomic physics, I couldn't have raped her
Yeah.
because my semen never touched her.
I never touched her. I can't touch her. Or there would have been a nuclear. Was there a nuclear explosion? There was
But she
an
called-
explosion, but not nuclear.
But she also called me a racist or rapist, and words hurt. So she's the one to fault.
Actually,
I didn't
she's
actually
in trouble.
do it. Yeah,
Me too.
there's more physical proof of that.
none of that. Just don't do that on stage. Don't do any of that on stage. I shouldn't be doing it right now. But
Too late.
Ah, dude, it's whatever. Humor is supposed to go in the inappropriate way. That's why it's one of those
I
things
know.
where right now humor is. If there's a
This is not
podcast
the
called
show to watch what you say.
yeah, there's a podcast called Kill Tony, which all it is stand-up comedians that go up and you get a minute of stand-up, and then it's either you do good, and sometimes you can get jobs and stuff. But the other thing is he's like a good roast comic, and he'll just
Yeah.
flame you for being horrible. And the thing is like pretty much everyone that goes there now, and like where humor, like that's like the capital of humor right now.
Yeah.
It's all right wing. Because humor's like in the right wing thing, because that's where inappropriateness is. That's where, and it's so weird being
They're making
old.
it very easy for comedians.
Yeah. Well, now that's the thing with wokeness. You literally just have to go like, look over there, and people are like, wait. You're like, are those
Something
kids?
new.
Are those kids at a drag show? And it's like, yeah. And there's people saying it's okay. Like that's all it is.
I don't want to get into it.
You don't like that? No, this is a good point, dude. Kids should not be at drag shows. You don't sexualize
Why?
kids because you don't sexualize kids.
Why should they be?
Yeah, why should they?
It's a should or shouldn't thing. It was a family friendly event.
It's not family friendly. They're sexualized.
It has to do with sexuality.
They're stripping. They're dancing. They're giving them money.
They weren't stripping.
Yes, they were. They do strip. They dance like strippers.
It wasn't. It was a family friendly thing.
the
It was
thing
there
on
was
the-
no-
thing
there
on
was
the
no
wall
naked
says it
people
won't-
there. Like it was at a place where that does happen, but they opened it up.
It's like drag queen story hour. It's not made for kids.
Yeah.
It's not a.
Would you bring your kid to an
So-
adult world
so,
that
hold
was
on.
holding like an event
If
that
you
had
can,
nothing to do with it?
We got spicy.
It's not. It's not. This is why I didn't get into it. 'Cause I'm getting mad now.
well, I
Just
just
get mad about it. We're
You
just
don't get
talking.
mad.
if you can hear me out. The reason that I think it's a decent question to ask is because while I get what your
Topic.
overall point is, you're saying you're not sexualizing like the kids that are seeing it. Like they're not like going up and like, do you know, like and
Right, they're not
asking
like walking out confused.
well, no. I'm
It's
not
grooming though.
Hold on. But when a kid sees someone in a drag outfit, there's questions that inherently become about sexuality and like parts of the body.
Well, the kids are not going to.
So like
That
so
comes up to-
just for example, if there's a woman that sits down and reads a story, like there could be questions like if a kid is like curious about like, you know, starting to go through puberty, like what are those? Like cuz there's, you know,
Tits.
things on the breasts.
Big old hongers.
Thank you.
Booby, Bubba Booby.
Thank you. We needed that. But my point is, when it's someone in drag, that it's like some dude with this crazy makeup that's wearing like a leotard and like a cape and like has like 17 different colored hairs and like they have to explain that this person is dressed up like that.
Yeah, the kid's not going to be like, oh, just another average day with
it gets
Rainbow
I don't
fish.
think the kid's really gonna think anything.
Well, no, but
How do we know?
when the
Kids
kid
are super
asks-
curious.
That's up to the parent.
when they ask
Not to what the kid's gonna
mommy or
think,
daddy,
but-
what is that? Like, who is this person? It's inherently tied to their sexuality.
The reason it's grooming
Okay.
is because it's
So
the
it's bringing
lowest.
up
It's
a
the
sexual
lowest
topic.
form. It's the lowest form of, you know what I mean? It's the lowest form of something that a lot of people would consider sexualized and other things like that. So it's the same thing as bringing a kid to like a go-go dancer bar. You know what I mean? You'd be like, that's not right. And then you do have people like Desmond is amazing and stuff like that, who has been in New York, who has taken his clothes off and had people throw him money. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's a sexual element to it, and you shouldn't sexualize kids regardless gay or straight. Like kids shouldn't be in those. Kids don't even understand sex roles. You know what I mean?
I don't think there was any sexualizing there.
There is. There's the way they dance, the way that they're.
So what was the point? What was the point of the event then?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a drag show. There's
They weren't doing an adult R-rated drag show in front of kids. I know it was a family.
I know, and you're gonna laugh at this, but it's because of the implication. Like there is.
No, exactly. That's why people see it. It's what most people would consider most regular people, I think, would consider an inappropriate thing. I understand that it's not something where it's.
I just don't think it needs to be made a big deal as it is. I mean, there's so much other horrible stuff that's been going on, and that's what we're making a big deal out of.
Well, the thing is that I think one of the people that got caught at the drag show things was a child. They just had to come out was a child predator and stuff like that. So it's like you're putting these
It
kids.
has something to do with the drag queens. That's completely different. That's, you know, I just don't think it's grooming. It's
grooming, but grooming is like the lowest level.
It's the first step. in
Yeah,
that
that's the whole thing. So it's people trying to sound the alarm, being like, "Hey, is this really isn't a place where you should probably bring your kids?" You know what I mean? Like this isn't. That's what it is, because it's one of those things where it's like the next step, where it's like you're pushing sexuality onto kids, just like we have the books. Like,
I mean, it's no different than taking your. I mean, no disrespect to this, but it's like no different than taking your kids to church.
it's totally different than taking your kids
What?
to church.
Hold on, where do you see
You're
this similarity?
You're grooming them. You're grooming them with religion. They're not going to come out with questions. Be like, wait,
You're misusing the word grooming. Grooming has nothing to do with teaching someone something. Grooming is
Normalizing something for
getting them
kids.
accustomed to
Grooming
being
is
in
You're
a
trying to
certain kind of
normalize
relationship
them
that
with
isn't
religion.
normal.
Then you're trying to normalize them with.
Yeah, but religion's
Hold on,
has
hold on.
inherently over
Yeah,
time has been a good thing.
Right.
Okay, well, drag queens are not good people. Like,
No, it's not the drag.
We're not talking about them personally. We're not talking about them
Sexualizing kids is a
individually.
bad thing, and it's one step into that. That's
they're
why
not being sexualized.
they're looking at something.
What is a drag queen? What's the purpose of a drag queen? Why do they do what they do?
I don't know. You can.
I'm just saying. Well,
That's the
Like,
point
that's-
I was
that's-
making at the beginning. Is that it's when they see
Gonna
that
raise
it's
questions.
inherently tied to their sexuality. That identity is tied to their sexuality. Being a drag queen doesn't like it's not separate from being.
Okay,
gay.
so if the kid walks out and he
I mean,
has,
no,
and he has,
it
he
can- it
has
can be. It
questions,
can be.
then what's the? I mean,
But-
what's the big deal if he's asking questions? And
but
the
that's
parent can be that
Because you're
like,
sexualizing-
so that's
those
that's
are
the point. It's like
topics.
He's gonna
why have
learn
it? Why have
about-
it a drag? Why does it have to be a drag queen themed thing versus just it being a thing and then
It goes
if
into
a
the
drag
big.
queen happens
Then,
to
well, then
show
what's the
up and it's-
difference if it's?
Well, no, it goes into the bigger thing of we're pushing trans stuff onto kids, and I don't think that's good. I think that's something where you're
Why is
pushing
that not good?
because the trans suicide rate is 41%. So you shouldn't be trying to push anyone.
That
Trans.
doesn't mean they're gonna all kill themselves.
No,
But-
I know.
but you're pushing
okay,
someone
but
into a
where
into a
did
mental-
where did all the transvestite like mentality and all that start from? Calling it gender dysmorphia. What is gender dysmorphia? A medical condition or any kind of dysmorphia.
Dysphoria.
Body is
Dysphoria.
dysphoria.
right?
We're,
No, it's
no.
dysmorphia.
First off, people who are trans are not just like have body dysmorphia.
Yes, they do.
Yes,
That's
they
what
do.
it's
They
called.
do.
Normal
They have-
people.
No.
What?
I
It's
have-
called-
I
it's-
have
dude, it's
family
what it's
that's- I have family that's trans.
Yeah, it doesn't.
That's
just
fine. I have
because
friends who
someone's-
are trans.
Yeah,
It doesn't make a
Yeah, it
difference.
doesn't mean anything. There's
We're not getting personal with
We're
this.
talking
just
about
talking
pushing
the
something.
actual
We're talking about
concept
pushing
of it.
something onto someone. If you look into the DSM,
Nothing's
5,
getting pushed onto them.
No, they do though. That's the thing. You have people, you have parents who want to be so progressive and want to be so virtue signaling that they push their kids into these directions of sexuality where kids shouldn't be sexualized. Kids don't have sexual feelings. They're kids. You're taking away their innocence. That's the whole thing. We're trying to protect innocence here. People are trying to. That's where the argument comes in, where you're like, we're trying to protect a kid's innocence. I don't know if a drag show where a kid should go. I don't think kids should be watching the Playboy channel. I don't think you know what I mean? Like it's the same thing where it's like that's why people are trying to put the flag up. And like when you go into trans stuff, they're so like, if you want to create a hateful person, have someone who's not trans as a little kid be groomed into being trans, and then see what what happens. Because that's the thing that no one talks about. There are tons of people who have been talked into it. And when you see these people, they self-mutilate, they take hormone blockers that make them, that make them infertile. There are certain things that happen.
He was in depression.
Yeah. And so like, that's the type of thing where it's like, you want to make sure that if someone's trans, they're actually trans. That it's not someone trying to have their kid be trans so they can tell their moms at the book club, like, look at my little Timmy. He was such a, you know what I mean? Like that's the thing where you have people pushing things onto. It's the same.
always knew he was different.
And so that's what I mean. It's like it's one of those things where it's like that's why I think people get upset about it. And I get it. You're what's it called? You don't want to. I get it. The whole like you're not trying to tell people you don't want trans people to feel like they're being oppressed or something like that. But I don't think trans kids is like if someone is in that, I think it's about like understanding it and being open toward it and things like that if a kid's doing that. But like there's so many studies that show that kids grow out of it. Like Rachel when she was younger was a tomboy. If you know what I mean, like Rachel shouldn't had her tits cut off.
Now she could have a beard.
But you know what I mean? No, but that's not where it comes down to. You're having girls have their breasts removed. You're having them be put on testosterone and then they can't have children. Like you're making
Well, they're not born to have kids. If they don't want to have kids, they're not going to have kids. I mean,
what? I'm talking about you're taking the choice away from them. So if you say Rachel,
It's up to them. It's their choice.
Right, but they don't talk
they're the
about
ones
they don't talk
doing
about
it.
how a lot of them regret it later on.
yeah, it's a lot
And
bigger
then they can't
discussion.
take
That's on them. That doesn't mean they have to be cut
Right,
off.
but it's
completely,
being projected as such like a safe thing to do, such like an
It's
immediate
celebrated.
It's celebrated. It's like it's all wrapped into the whole pride thing,
Yeah.
and then it's not even if it is like a thing that is part of our society or whatever. It's not a fully thought out process. It's just like, all right, fine. There's doctors out there who will approve the surgeries because A, they want money, and B, it looks good on their resume that they're like
I just make,
inclusive or whatever.
I make this.
But they don't talk about the depression. They don't talk about anything that happens after the fact.
I also think 20 years down the line, you have a bunch of kids that get caught up in this. They're not actually trans. It's their parents trying to, win brownie points at the book club or blah, 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 stuff like that. You have them, all of a sudden, you have some kid who cut his penis off. You want to start hate for a group. You know what I mean?
You say very they're not just going into the bathroom and cutting their dick off. I mean, they're
No, but it happens. It's parents getting pushed.
But what we were saying in the beginning is that it's the first step in that direction.
And it happens. There are stories. That's one of the biggest Reddit things that you can go to. Look at the people who regret it and the stories that are there where it's like, I can't have kids. I can't have sex. I can't have a relationship. And it's like, why did you do this? Like, because my mom pushed me to do this. My grandmother abused me and made me do this.
It's not a trans issue. That's a parenting issue.
But it's the same thing. They overlap. That's why that's the whole thing. It's one of those things where it's like, you have kids that are maybe, a little weird or something like that. They have nothing that they stick out for. And then all of a sudden they go, I'm trans, and everyone in the community goes, yay! Even if they're not trans, they like that positive attention. So now all of a sudden they're moving towards that. That's where it's like the concerns come. It doesn't come from a place of hate. It's not like, oh, look at all these trans people, I'm angry. It comes from if I was a little kid, Rachel, that's why I said Rachel's like my best example. Rachel was a little tomboy. When she got to a certain age, her mom, like when she said that and they gave her puberty blockers, and then all of a sudden she wasn't able to have kids, she might have some resentment. Now say you have a whole generation of people like that, that's where you could actually get real hate. You know what I mean? That's where you could get people being like, these people need to be taken care of because they did something to me. That I'm looking out for the trans community in a way, because you can get, I make it as a joke a lot of times, but I think you might get trans Hitler out of this. Somebody who
it just doesn't sound like a trans issue to me. You want to be trans, be trans. It just sounds.
But kids can't.
Right, but why? Okay, so why
parents are pushing this on to them? That's a separate issue.
Well, that's what we see. That's what a drag show. That's where a drag show is to a lot of people. You see that, you're bringing your kid to that. Seems like you might be trying
just
to
That's why I related to taking you're taking your kids to church. You're trying to push religion onto them. Let them.
Church doesn't make you manipulate your body into something that you can't ever undone. You can walk.
Why had the drag queen event in the first place then? If it's up to the parents to decide, what's the positive of having that kind of event and having it be family centered or whatever?
I don't know. I mean, it's not. I don't know the whole purpose of the event, but it didn't do any harm. I don't see any kids coming out and being like, "I'm."
Yeah, it's not going to be immediate.
Yeah, it's a generational thing, and it's the whole.
I really
thing.
doubt in like 15 years some kid's going to be like, "I'm blaming this one drag show."
It's not about blaming it, dude.
It's about grooming, making it
introducing these topics that otherwise would never be brought up, and it's not necessarily like for example, man, like the Matt Walsh. I watched the Matt Walsh "What Is a Woman" thing, and like the one question they were saying is like, kids believe in Santa Claus, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like kids logically believe in Santa Claus. That's like where their understanding of the world is at. Like you'll tell them that Santa Claus comes down and bring the presents and they believe you. Okay. That same understanding of reality should not then be allowed to be like, and I'm also a girl. And then dude, there are places where kids are allowed to get hormone blockers and get surgery scheduled, and the parents don't ever have to approve any of it. And that's crazy, because if you believe in Santa Claus, you shouldn't also get to decide, I'm going to cut off my genitals.
It's because you can self-mutilate.
The person has no concept of reality.
Yeah.
Like they're saying that 4 and 5-year-olds should be able to have a say in their gender. That's crazy, man. That doesn't make sense. That person has
not nearly old enough to be responsible for it.
No understanding of what reality really is. How can they know what gender they are?
At that point, they should be able to smoke cigarettes and drink alcohol.
You know what I mean? I'm just saying, man. If you want to get the logical,
we're just trying to show you idea. We're not saying you have to believe like us.
Right.
It's just one of those things where.
I'm sorry, I completely disagree.
Fine, that's why we're having this conversation. It's not a problem.
But you see, the thing is, this is where I'm saying you have a little bit of a false equivalent, is the church thing. Because church doesn't make you mutilate your body. You can all of a sudden step out and be like, yo, I'm not into this. All you did was probably get baptized and hang around with some people that you don't agree with anymore.
Get molested by a Catholic priest.
But that's not part of the religion. It's not like, oh, yeah, you know what I mean? It's not like, oh, wait, that's the final sacrament.
I reached molestation age.
Yeah. No, and trust me, as being a Christian myself, I think that's the most important thing that they do.
I was relating it to that because, I mean, maybe I'm using the word grooming wrong, but I mean, I'm relating it to that because you're teaching these kids, you're trying to conform these kids to a religion, conform them into believing something that they have, like Mike, what you were saying, into believing something that they have no concept of reality, to believe that there's this higher power out there, that everything in the universe and Earth is all controlled by this one person, being, whatever you want to call it. And and all of a sudden that child's just supposed to be like, oh, okay.
But that's a normal. That's a normal thing. It's been happening for thousands. Yes, it is. It's been happening for thousands of years.
With that definition,
that's how we got
take away
That's
what our beliefs are within Christianity. Then you can just say the same thing for teaching a kid anything. You're indoctrinating them with anything, or you're grooming them to learn how to do math problems, how to figure out life problems, or whatever. Like, it's not grooming. It's not.
It's a concern over kids making decisions about their bodies that they aren't going to be able to reverse because somebody wanted to be cool. You know what I mean? Like, that's where the worry comes
I mean, I don't think it's happening with all trans kids.
No, it's not. No one said all kids, but a lot. But trans.
Well, why is it in the past? Why is it in the past 5 years? There's been so many more people becoming trans out of, like, because it's been in the news more often.
Because they feel it's been coming out. It's been having a light shed on it, and they're
So you don't think any of it? You don't think any of it has to do with trends?
Maybe every now and then there's a few that, like,
I think it's more than you think.
I think
because of the way how media
I really think
and how companies work to
Let's let each other talk.
I think sorry.
No, you're good.
I think it's there's a light that's being shed on it, and they're finally seeing that it's okay to come out.
Okay.
And it's okay to.
How long does that go until we as a society are like?
What do you mean?
Okay,
how long is
we've shed enough light on it. Everyone is aware that transvestitism is a thing.
Until people stop discriminating and hating on them. And
who's hating on them?
People who are transphobic, and people who are, Florida.
I don't think anyone's actually transphobic. Like, that's you're saying that they're afraid of them. I don't.
Just like homophobia, transphobia.
So is there a difference between that and
it's the colloquial term? We're not trying to get them in a semantic.
No, I know, but people use that to cast a blanket over anyone who just disagrees with it.
Yeah, no, it comes down to
it's a
fundamental disagreement between people who are more conservative, people who are more liberal. Like, it's one of the that's why it's such it's a hot button topic, because I think most people agree that sexuality with kids shouldn't be something that's brought up till maybe they're 11, 12 years old. And now you have drag queen story hour for kindergartners. Like, they're kindergartners. Like, their thing is like, I play with truck, I play with doll. Not like, you know what I mean? Like, what happened to that man? Why? What's he talking about?
If a kid,
because they normally
with that logic, then it's no different than a clown, than reading to a child.
But it's not sexual.
It's gonna be like, it's not sexual for a drag queen.
Yes, it is. It's all sexual. That's what it is. It's based off.
It's tied to their sexuality, man. When they say "mommy," why does that person dress like that? They'll be like, "Oh, because they."
It's the same thing for a clown. Mommy, why is that man dressed like a
right?
clown?
But again,
but that guy doesn't go home and actually believes he's a clown.
Hold on, dude. Just let me.
No, Gordon. That's actually a decent point.
Right, but the point I was trying to make was that this person, again, when they explain why they're a drag queen, it's connected to them being gay, and then they have to explain what gay is, because the kid isn't just going to be like, "Oh, they're gay," and then not ask what that means, and then they're going to explain what. I'm going to say
it doesn't necessarily mean they're gay.
I think it's because people. It's the slippery.
Dude, I know some of them. Not all of them are just gay. That's like being ignorant of just. And it's true. Like being generalizing.
Yeah, no, that's true.
It's because he might feel more feminine, or do you feel more comfortable as a woman? That's the whole point of transvestism.
I don't. It's one of those things where I don't have problems with
either
drag.
way.
I don't have problems with drag. I have problems with drag with kids that are really young. When it comes down to they're doing these sexualized dancing, they're twerking in front of kids. There's ones where they're like literally have big fake tits that just have the nipples covered. Like, there's just things where you're sitting there, you're like, that's not for a kid. This is getting weird. And then I think people naturally see it as. So a problem that happens with the LGBT community a lot is that a lot of pedophiles are trying to get in. Like, they try to use that a lot. They're called MAPs. What is it?
Minor attracted person.
That's what it is. A minor attracted, and they're trying to get into the trans, or into the, I shouldn't say trans community, the LGBT umbrella. And there's people that normally are in the trans community that are the people that are like, no, they're okay. And so I think people see that are not in that community and go like, whoa, like this is that we see this as grooming. We see this as people trying to move kids into like if kids can make
What if it is the kid that's deciding for himself? What if this kid's
Then let him decide himself within life. Don't he doesn't have to be pulled.
But he's
so
got
early.
to talk to about. He or she or whoever
And he has his parent, and
We'll talk to
hopefully
him, right.
his parents.
And
But like he doesn't need to go to at like 3-4 years old figure it all out.
no,
Like
I guess it's
none of us think about our sexuality, whether we're straight or gay, until like we're probably preteens. So what's the whole point of introducing?
so if they're at that show and I don't know how old the kids were, but if they're 3-4 years old, 5, 6, whatever, and they're asking those questions like, "Mommy, why is he dressed like that? Why are they dressed like that?" Like, one, it's up to the parent and however they want to answer it,
right?
and two, they can just easily say just to shut the kid up. Honestly, would be that's just how they want. That's just how they dress. They can just shut it down. They don't have to go into this whole thing.
I think it's because it's the dancing and the fact that they get celebrated and people are going. So then it makes the kid be like, should I do that? And then you have pariahs that are on the
Again,
trans.
but like to Mike's point, I don't think they're going to take it that seriously. If they're they're bleeding and
not
standing,
every
they're not going to
time.
have that reality.
Not every time, but
not
it's
that
it's-
mentally
protecting
aware
kids. Yeah.
to actually be like, oh, okay, if they're doing that, then I like they see it as just a fun show.
I understand that there's probably lots of kids that are, but it's one of those things where it's like kids that are easily impressionable. So they sit there and then all of a sudden they go, I want to do that. And then all of a sudden some crazy woke person, we've all met people that are way too left that want to celebrate everything. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, we're trying to guard, like how people are too far right and they're racist about stuff and they want to talk about everything being black and white. It's the same thing where you get to the left and you're like, not everything has to be about trans or
your sexuality.
Or sexuality. So you have people who pry on that. They all of a sudden go, oh, my little boy said he really liked the drag show. Maybe he should do drag, and push the kid into it, because the reason it's a concern is because the high suicide rate and the fact that there are doctors that will give them puberty blockers that'll ruin their life. They'll self-mutilate. Like, this isn't like a normal, like, that's the thing. It's not trans. The number of trans
such a
people,
new thing. It shouldn't
Yeah.
just be accepted as, all right, well, the process we have for these people right now is the perfect process, and that nobody can question it. Nobody can.
There's ways to do it. There's safe ways and healthy ways to go about it. And that's
a lot of those ways aren't even confirmed yet because it hasn't been a thing.
I'll say there's a 14-year-old girl who all of a sudden says, Mommy, I want a hysterectomy because I don't want to ever have a baby. I think if you're that adult, you go, no. You say, absolutely not, because maybe when you're older, that's not what you want. You know what I mean? Because maybe they watch something where someone got raped and got pregnant and they're really afraid of it. You know what I mean? Because they're a kid. That's the whole thing, where it's like, you don't want kids to mutilate them. And the thing that I fear is literally, I say it as a joke a lot, but I'm afraid of trans Hitler. I really am.
I don't know what that means.
To me, somebody who gets caught up in this, who is say it was me as a boy or something like that. Not that I'm like this, but somebody who was, and then all of a sudden I got pushed into it because my sister, when I was younger, used to dress me up like a girl, but it was a funny thing. It wasn't like a yay, like they would laugh and my dad would shake his head and be like, what are you doing?
Right.
And it would be like but it was like a funny thing where it was like, this is ridiculous. If all of a sudden it was like a praise thing, and then all of a sudden I was like, I like this because this is how I get my attention. And then all of a sudden my parents put me on puberty blockers. I get depressed. I cut my penis off. Then I get older. I want to have a wife. I want to have kids. I can't do any of those things.
You're talking about one extreme that
all it takes is one. There was only one Hitler. That's what I'm saying.
Right, but it's not. I don't think that's not gonna turn into every trans kid out there.
I'm not saying it's every trans kid. It takes one person being angry and a bunch of other people being hurt by that community, and someone getting resentful and being like, "Why did you let this happen? Why did you let them push trans stuff on kids like this?" Because it's right now in high schools, from the statistics I've seen, it's about 20% of kids identify as trans now. That's not the normal amount. It hasn't been like that for a very, very long time. And a lot of people accredit it to they're molding kids to it. And that's where the fear comes from. I'm not saying anything. I'm not trying to judge anyone or anything.
There's a good chunk of people in there who want to be perceived as good parents.
I want to be seen as progressive because now we have virtue signaling,
right?
Where it's like, hey, I have a gay kid. Now I'm the important person, or I have a trans kid. I'm the cool mom that has I'm tolerant. I'm cool. Where it's like, you know what I mean?
Did
like,
your kid even genuinely pick that, or you just like,
I'm hip.
Like, there's a comedian. So there's a comedian, Owen Benjamin, who the reason he ended up losing his whole career, he was huge. The reason he lost his whole career is because when he got married and his wife had his first kid, his agent had a 3-year-old who was becoming trans, and he was about to have it put on puberty blockers. And Owen was like, dude, like, don't do that to your little girl. That's wrong. And the agent was like, you're a transphobe. You're a horrible person. And he's lost his whole career. And he's just looking out for the kid's future. Like I was saying, the thing about the hysterectomy, Lydia from Tim Pool actually talked about when I think she was 16 or 17, she went to a doctor and told the doctor, I want to have a hysterectomy. And the doctor was like, absolutely not. I'm not going to do that to you. Like, you don't know how you'll be. And now she just got married. She's like, I think 31, and she wants to have a kid. And she looks at that doctor and goes, thank God that doctor looked out for me and my future.
Right. How many decisions have our parents made for us ahead of time that we now agree with them on?
And I get it. You probably just don't think about it. Like, it's not like something that, like, I don't think you should feel shamed, or I don't think anyone should. This is a really difficult topic. I'm glad we came up with it. This is probably going to make the podcast pretty good. Is the fact that, like, people haven't thought about it. Like, you're not someone who's looking to have kids or something like that. I think when you're like me and Rachel, we start thinking about it. You look at that and you're like, is that the world I want to have my kid in? Like, do I want to, like Canada? If you deny your kid's sexuality, like, you could be getting groomed at school with a teacher pushing this onto your kid. Your kid comes home, says, I'm a little girl, and now they want to get their pee-pee chopped off, and you as a parent can get thrown in jail because you're not going to do that for your kid. That's like, you know what I mean? Like, then
I still think it's a very, extreme outlook where
we're looking out for kids. It's an innocence thing. So
looking out for kids, but all right.
You think it's extreme? It's
also like if it goes down a road where, like, what won't we accept?
Well, it's just like, everyone regrets things they did when they were a kid and mindsets they had when they were a kid. You know what I mean? So it's just again,
one time
you're looking out for somebody that really doesn't.
On an old lady's car.
Exactly. And now look how successful he is.
No, but seriously, there's things that I've done that I regret for sure. And having a parent there, you know what I mean? For something like that. I guess it's just one of those things where with something like when it's like you like having a family or you doing something to your body that's irreversible, that's where like the serious tone comes from. And I understand some people with trans stuff see this as like hate or maybe being over concerned or something like that. But I think it's people just looking out for, like, if that was me, or like when Rachel said, like, wow, if my mom would have been like, oh, then you're a little boy, like, Rachel's definitely not a boy. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
and Rachel's mom would,
I don't know if Rachel's mom was progressive, and I think Rachel's mom could get caught up in that because she was built like that. Not that there's, and probably not actually. She's decent, like, with all that kind of stuff. She's not super progressive, but someone like that, someone who is easily influenced. You know what I mean? Like, that's part of the whole celebration of it. It should be more of a thing where it's, very like we were saying before, the gender dysphoria thing. Like, people get upset about it, but there's a discussion to be there where the DSM-4, when it was gender dysphoria, didn't get changed to being okay with trans because doctors found anything. It got changed because it was a political body and there was voting done.
Yep.
It wasn't done because there was a new discovery. So I think the most basic thing is saying, like, I don't want to throw someone into a 41% suicide rate pool first. You know what I mean? Like,
why is the suicide? Like, why are they killing themselves?
A lot of people think it's because of how
the medication.
No, but gender dysphoria or when it's labeled as that is something where people like so the left thinks it's bullying. The left is like, oh, it's because they're not accepted. But even after surgery, the level doesn't go down. Like, it's not something. It's the depression.
You're constantly having to pump yourself with hormones. That's not.
You don't always have to do that too. I mean,
but a lot of them do. And
I have a nephew who was. She was born in a girl, and she knew she's like 19 now. She's known for a long time, and she's had, I don't know all of the process that he's had done, but he's super happy now, and
that's successful.
Great. If she feels completely comfortable, all the power to her. I think our point is that we just it's such a complicated thing that has not been 100% figured out yet. It hasn't, like, it's been a popular thing to talk about for only a couple of years, that it shouldn't be like thrown out as such a what's the word, such a
Flip it.
standard. There shouldn't be such a standard about it that should be accepted across all boards.
No, it's something that needs to be
Needs a lot of
talked
nuance
about.
to
It's
it.
something that needs to go. And then you're going to have people who are more, like people who are definitely more on like the religious side and stuff like that are definitely more likely to have like a,
Stance against
a
it.
harsher stance against it,
Right.
which is something that the other side can work, you know what I mean? That the right can work on, where it's like, hey, these people, you know what I mean? These people aren't Christians. They don't view it as that. It's one of the
Right,
biggest.
I mean, as someone who's not religious like whatsoever at all, like I like just do whatever you want. Just don't hurt people. Like just like you,
Well, that's
like,
how we see it too.
you hurt, like if you're hurting yourself, then that's on you. But I mean, do whatever you want, be whoever you want. I don't.
That's what we're talking about. We're
don't
kind of on
care.
the same side of that. It's like if you're of age or you're like at least old enough to make the decision for yourself, or
Once you're
like you-
18,
but
once
you-
you're
but
18,
not,
take, you know what I mean? Do it.
You can be 12, you can be 14, do whatever you want.
See, but that's where it comes
I would say
down
do
to.
whatever you
Yeah.
want now because you don't know everything about life.
Like,
You don't know everything,
Like,
and you'll do these things.
I
and-
think maybe when you're 18, when you're considered an adult, and you can make all the other decisions that you have to wait till
Yeah,
you're
but
18 for.
when these kids are 12 or 11 or 13 or whatever, they're not thinking like I'm going to do this. When I'm 18,
give
I'm
them
not
that
going to like it.
right, but give
like-
them time to develop their to live life and to
But
develop.
life's
their
not going to
thoughts
let
and-
them have that time. They're going to go
What do you mean?
through a lot of. They're just going to go through a lot. They're going to have these experiences, have these changes. They're going to see it. They're going to see these people, see other people go through it, go through similar things, go through anything that might make them think that well, is this going to happen to me, or like, am I, when will I experience this? And it's just they're not going to have that time to wait until they're 18 because it's gonna happen. It's
the trend's gonna run out before they can get in.
no,
on the board.
it's just a part of society, like
I think, well, that's the thing. I think that's
don't
where
think it should
I
be
think
as
that's where we
normalized as it
disagree. I
has been.
think it's
Yeah.
one of those things where it's about like where the age comes from. And then there's like I was saying, the thing about the pedophile thing is there's a lot of people who believe this is the in for the pedophiles.
Well, there are subsections of people who are already advocating for pedophile relationships with children.
Well, that's what I mean.
Or-
Where it's like if kids can make a decision about their genitals being mutilated or whatever, then kids technically, then you're going to have
Can
people
decide if they
who-
want to be with an adult.
if they want to have sex or not with.
where
with
are you
adults.
getting that kids are mutilating their genitals?
That's because they'll do sexual reassignment surgeries in other countries. So like in Canada and stuff like that, this is normal.
So how old are these kids that are going?
The young.
They have all this money to get.
Their parents.
No, the government's going to pay
They're
for
gonna-
it.
yeah.
There's that stuff, dude. It's that's one of the things when you really look at it. It's one of the things where I think because we're Americans, we want to be so open and so loving and so caring. Sometimes we're so open-minded that our brain falls out and that we forget like people can regret these things. People can,
That's on them.
but
That's-
but at the
that's on
same
them.
time, it's
Right, but you're gonna say
child.
you're,
Up to us
you're gonna
to-
say the same thing for a 3-year-old who decides to do that, and then
3-year-old's
figures
not
out,
going to
yeah.
decide to do that.
but someone's going to decide.
3 years
for the
old.
3
But someone's going to
They're 3
decide
years
for
old.
them. But someone else will decide for them, which goes against what you were saying. If someone else is doing harm to someone else, then that's where you have a problem.
I guess that's where I say that's where I get the
Right,
trans Hitler
so,
thing.
I
Think
mean-
about the resentment that can be built up if you think like that.
Is
Or
there?
if
I
you
mean,
think-
is there a statistic of parents that are going around trying to change their 3-year-olds?
We're just saying the door has been opened for more and more of that potential.
and you see it. What's it called? That's the
We're
thing
not saying
where
it's like definite or
there's a
every single parent's evil or
that
whatever.
do much worse things.
Of course, and that's the same dude. That's the
But
same
it
thing
does-
as
but it doesn't
beating
mean
your
they should
kids.
be able to do another bad thing.
It's the same thing as beating your kids, or you know what I mean. Things like that, where it's
Beating
like
your child is way worse. But
matters how you beat them. You know what I mean? It's you know what I mean. Some people still agree with light spanking. There's other people who beat the total crap out of their kids. That's obviously wrong. But I do think there are terms with spanking, especially with young boys that are built a certain way that probably need it. Because there are little boys that I grew up next door to them, super aggressive, probably needed to be spanked. You know what I mean? Not a lot, not something where you're leaving a bruise on a kid. You should never touch a kid when they're, you know what I mean? When they're, when you're angry or anything like that. But like I was spanked as a kid when I did really bad stuff. But like, you know what I mean? That's where it's like, yeah, don't beat your kids. But maybe there's certain things where it's like, it's almost like don't beat your kids, scare the hell out of them. Like, you know what I mean? Have respect so that they fall in line with society. So I don't know where I was going with that, but that's I guess how you look at it, where it's like, I get it. Like we're trying not to have anyone feel uncomfortable in their body. And that I understand the concern from the left where it's like there's this person who just wants to break out who's known. That's why there's
So I'm not looking at it like politically left right. I'm looking at it non-politically, just as a human being. You know, just
You have to realize that a lot of it is being used for political gain on the left side, which can seem.
no, yeah, I
Which
know,
you
and
don't look at
I
it-
don't agree with
no.
that. It should. I hate that everything gets
That's the thing.
politicized.
That's the
and-
thing is
and,
that
like,
where-
it's,
amen, brother.
I can't stand it.
Neither
know?
can we. But like,
Yeah.
but that's where a lot of the indoctrination or the grooming can start from, or
Well, what's the
can be
term?
misconceived as genuine. You know,
I think it has to do
because
with the
people
Nazi
support the
regime where it
government
said
for
don't
all the
care about
nations.
politics, and but politics cares about you. So like what happened is we were lucky enough and blessed enough for a long time to not give a crap about politics. I miss those days. I really do. I just wanted to do comedy.
It's great.
Yeah. But when it started seeping into comedy of like, oh, you can't make fun of that, you can't do that. And then like people won't like this is a trans thing, but it's like jokes like what's his name? Dave Chappelle. Like he's just pointing out things that are absurd to normal people. Like if you're trans and you want it to be something that's inclusive, then and you want to be treated the same, then humor should be the same. Like you know what I mean? Like just because you're making fun of someone, just because you say something about someone or you criticize something, all it is words. You know what I mean? Like that's the whole thing. Like having these discussions and stuff is good. Yeah, they're uncomfortable. Yeah, sometimes you get angry, sometimes you get, but guess what? It's better than all of a sudden letting bad stuff happen.
And that kind of ties into like a lot of people just taking stand-up comics. They're just taking them too
way
serious.
too
They're taking them literally, taking them too seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
The Fresh
Like-
Prince,
What?
like the Fresh Prince.
The
What do you
new
mean?
drama show, or
I was talking about when Will Smith slapped Chris Rock.
Oh,
People taking stand-up comics
Well, that's
too
because that
seriously.
guy's cuckolded.
What then you see, but that's the thing. Then you
It's
see what
weird.
happened. What happened the next week? Somebody was watching Dave Chappelle. He was doing, I believe, one of his trans bits.
They went up and like
and someone
tackled him.
and
Oh,
went up
yeah, yeah.
and the
Yeah.
guy was gonna go. The guy had a weirdest thing in the world. The guy had a
Gun?
gun that shot knives. The weirdest thing I've ever heard in my life. And he had that, and the bouncers messed him up and stuff like that. And I think that's because somebody sat there, watched it, and was like, "Oh, we're allowed to do this." So then you start putting comedians, you know, comedian lives matters, right? But like that's what it is, and it's like, dude, we're allowed to joke. Like the way that I think about it all the time is, you know, maybe this is me just being older, but trans stuff for a lot of people is weird. And I don't think there's anything wrong with saying like it's awkward. They've in a lot of ways it's attacked language with the pronouns and stuff like that. And it's not the fact that if this is something that's going to stay or anything, it's just so new that people, you know, want to adjust to it. Kind of like when you had cell phones. And there were so many comedians that were in the beginning like, a phone's supposed to be attached to the wall. Like, you know what I mean? Like no one was like, that guy hates phones. Like, you know what I mean? It just-
yeah. I mean, I don't think it's gonna be a phase. I think these are people who want to be who they truly feel inside, and that's who they're gonna be.
I think that's for
it's-
definitely.
I mean, it's definitely an adjustment. You know, it can, or I should say, it can be an adjustment rather for people. You know, it's.
Well, that's what I'm saying is
Yeah.
that there shouldn't be just this widely accepted okay to everything that happens from that movement. It should be when certain things seep into our kids' lives or innocent people's lives, it should be examined and then kind of assessed of what should be changed from that point on.
Yeah, no,
Mhm.
it's a hard topic because nobody wants to.
Nobody wants to have the hard talk.
Anytime you have a hard topic, it's because two things that are essential to people are headbutting against each other. You have people that you're worried about that are trapped inside some type of in their sexuality in some way and don't feel like they can express it. And for Americans, that's become like a crux of our personality. I think America overall is just too sexual if you really think about it. Like we've had the sexual revolution, all that kind. Everything's about sex all the time. It's everyone's identity.
Have you had it
Versus what?
Great.
Yeah, yeah. No, and I like, but that's the thing. Versus, so that I honestly, as the way that I look at it as a Christian, I think that's like an idol that Americans have, which is sexuality, which is this big thing, going up against the innocence of children. And I think since the beginning of time, we've always picked innocence of children, and so there's over sexuality, and that's why it's such a big thing because it's like one of
Now
those.
it's starting to creep.
Yeah, they start going, they butt up against each other. It's kind of like when you have when you have the abortion topic where it's the right of life to the child versus someone's right to privacy as a woman in a doctor's office. So the Fourth Amendment and the First Amendment are button heads, and you're trying to figure out where the middle is. And so people who are more conservative are more like, go down that line, where people are liberal are just like, let it happen, whatever, it's not a big deal, let everything be. And it's like, yeah, when those things run into each other, that's where you get these big explosions and big fights. And then that's why we try and get into like logical things, like looking into numbers and looking into like what's happening, because we don't have all the information with everything that's going on. So when all of a sudden you see this huge spike in the trans community and everything's celebrated, some people look over, I think, that are conservative and go like, that seems like it's probably that seems like it's artificial, and what's going to happen for that? And then that's where, again, coming back to the trans Hitler thing, I'm worried that why did Hitler hate Jewish people?
I really don't think you have anything to worry about.
No, I'm not, dude. I'm not the one who's going to be targeted by some psychopath that, becomes crazy because he was transitioned by his parents and didn't want to be. I'm looking out for people who are like that, because I think of it as like Hitler. What happened with Hitler? He didn't like Jewish people, and a lot of people say that it had to do with what? His idea of art class and his Jewish art professor being like, you have no talent, you're done. And so that type of, and that's just someone being rejected off of art. Imagine if all of a sudden it's like, you chop my penis off, and there's all these other people who were okay with it and celebrated it and pushed me towards it. If there's a psychopath out there, I guess I almost feel like it's a perfect storm. And maybe that's crazy, but when I think about it, I just sit there and go like, that's the last thing you want, is someone just looping all these people and being like, back to the old days where you burn people because they're gay or they're different because this psycho, you know what I mean? Like, that's how I look at it.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems kind of wild and out there to me.
We're just saying that there might be potential for that. We're just in the very, very beginning of all of it.
I just think of hate.
Maybe like 20 years down the road, our next generation will have to be like the ones to deal with someone who's that radical.
Why hasn't that happened with gay people? I mean,
not yet.
They've been hated and discriminated against.
Look at the Middle East, man.
You can say the word in Florida. How come they're not rising
You can
up?
say the word. That's the most made up.
Yeah, that's completely false.
See,
I was just using it as like it was generalization.
But that's not even. That's literally them just pulling a book out of a curriculum. Like, that's literally all that is.
No, I was using it as just a.
No, I understand what you're saying, but that's what I'm saying. I
agree with it, but I'm just saying.
That's the type of
Florida's Donald Trump land.
Sadly.
No, but that's the thing. Being we have to figure out how to live together, you know what I mean, as a group, and figure out these things. So I think it's good to, like, you know what I mean, like, as much as it sucks, like, there's no North and South anymore. Like, I think a lot of people sit there and go like, oh, we would like to have a peaceful divorce, which would be cool, I think, for a lot of things, because you see what's happening right now. You have, you know what I mean?
So it's just America versus Florida and Texas.
It wouldn't be America versus Florida and Texas. That's for damn sure, man. Like, that's the thing. It wouldn't be like, look at Austin, you know what I mean? And look at like I think Tampa and other different parts of Florida that are pretty liberal. Like, you're going to have, the last thing we want is civil war. And the last thing we want is
a great movie.
But dude, that's what I'm saying. The last thing you want is people fighting and doing these. That's why we have to have tough conversations. And that's why you get people radicalized. When YouTube wants to stop these conversations and wants to stop things that are like this, that's why it's, they stop conservative things because they see it as hate. And it's like, it just takes a second of like actually looking at what the other person believes. Like,
but whatever you believe is your belief. You don't have to spring that on others
but we have to coexist.
To coexist, right? But that doesn't mean you gotta, like, whatever that conservative person is doing, and it's damaging other people, it's hurting other people. Like, that's your based on their belief. That's their, like,
right.
That's not right.
It's the same. It's just, I guess another point to be made is about the coexisting thing, where, like, if you have two separate groups of people who fundamentally, like, feel different about very, like, moral based things, like, it's very hard for two people to agree, like, that the other person is, like, worth talking to, I guess. So, like, when you have people who are all about abortion, like, and it's like her body, her choice, and whatever, and then you have people like us who, like, we're like,
Don't agree with it.
not into that at all and don't.
No, we're
support
pro
that.
we're pro life.
But my
a lot of
point is like
times, yeah.
that is a very that's like the view.
People already have their decisions made and don't want to have the chance. To
It's
even
not
have
about
the-
it's not even about trying to sway people's opinion. Man. It's more about it's such a fundamentally like raw like issue with the people who are against like abortion being like legal that it's almost like it's not something that you can like just be like, oh, and then we can still be friends after that. You know what I mean? Because
Like you were even saying earlier, you got mad. It's like, yeah, it's okay that you get mad and all that stuff, but I think we have to be able to bring things down and talk about stuff so that doesn't turn into fights. And the reason why I think YouTube censoring people or Twitter censoring people and stuff like that is the reason why it gets so hyper. Because then, like you, like
Bottle
right
it
now,
up.
we disagree, but look, we have peace. We're fine. I'm not trying to hit you. You're not trying to hit me. And I think
know it's just it's there's just like I said before, a lot of it gets politicized, and then people who are disagreeing with each other, it's like, yeah, you can disagree, there can be discord, but there's no discord anymore these days.
well, that's why, honestly,
know.
that's why I started the show. And that's why I think this turned into going from a Stranger Things podcast to something that got really good that I think people are going to like. Hopefully we don't get canceled over, but we're just trying to share feelings and share our concerns. John's our friend. He's one of our more liberal friends. We love him.
I'm not political at all.
He's not political at all, but you definitely fall more into
human being.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my god, I say that all the time. Instead of being left, right, like, dude, honestly, the thing that I said, I wish that we could just like do away with political parties, and that'd be the greatest thing in the world. Because then it's just like I'm this, I'm that. Like I said, if Republicans lose this time, I think they should all just become Democrats. Because then I think people would listen to each other.
I just can't stand politics.
It's hard. It's
corrupt, and it's brainwashed people. It's warped people's minds, and it's
I just don't want to lose any more friends over it. But also, we look at society and sometimes go like, "Hey, man, what do you think? What do you think?" And like people just being like, "Oh," because now you might be more concerned. Like maybe next time you see someone and you see some woman, pushing some kid into something, and that puts a light in you and starts making you change your mind about something. Or maybe, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of how it seems. Or someone like, when I was younger, I got turned more liberal when I was in high school and had one of my best friends, Jenny, literally show me that we were already bombing Iraq when they were arguing about bombing Iraq. And that was because I was super conservative growing up because of my dad, military, all that stuff. Yeah. And that was what made me liberal. And that's why it's like one of those things where I was liberal until 2016. But it was because she showed me like, dude, we're already at war in Iraq. Like, this is all crap. They're just taking our rights. They're just these big corporations just want to make money by bombing the Middle East and killing people of different color and all that stuff. And I sat there and I remember just like literally just being shocked and being like, wow, like there's so much more nuance to things. There's so much more like about the world. Like I would have never in a million. I remember just being like, yeah, I remember, dude, I was ready to go to like Afghanistan. I remember
get 'em.
I was no, dude. I remember when 9/11 happened. I remember literally, it was so. I remember sitting there looking at that and being like, I wanted to. My dad was a Marine. I want to go over there and I want to stop the people who hate us from doing that ever again because that is messed up. And then my friend Jenny literally opened up the door and being like, dude, we're just as bad. We're just caught up in the middle of crazy rich people just trying to control the world. So like
pretty much
conversations, one of those things where it's like we need to have, because there's a lot of good rich people that do a lot of good things, but there's also a lot of good rich people or a lot of bad rich people, and they have ordinary power and they're able to, control things and do things. Like that's why it's like you look at someone's actions like Elon Musk, where it's like right now I look at Elon and say,
why couldn't he just become Batman?
Dude, thank you.
All right,
like just become like, come on.
I think that's what his dare was when Corona happened. I tell this all the time. I think when they told him in California, they're like, shut your factory down. He was like, no. And then I think he was sitting there being like, arrest me. And then I'm going to hit my button on my wristwatch. And all these Teslas are going to come up and they're going to turn into Optimus Prime and they're going to break into the prison, pull him out, sit him in the seat. And then he's just going to like shoot Teslas at people that come in.
There's like 40 something billionaires in this country, if not more. And not one of them decided to become a vigilante.
Yeah, where's Batman?
I mean, come on. Yeah.
Severely lacking in the.
Yeah, exactly. We need. Yeah, if there's someone who's gonna do it, it's gonna be him, and that'd be awesome. Yo, it'd be awesome if him and Bill Gates did it at the same time, and then they had a giant like fight
In the middle of New York.
All right, Bill Gates needs to just go away.
No, Bill Gates is the bad guy. So that's what I mean. You just have Bill Gates be the bad guy, and he's a Decepticon, and he's like all of a sudden like all the smartphones start like come and they come together and make a body, and then all the Teslas come together and they fight. Oh, it'll be awesome.
What's up, Michael Bay?
Yeah, what's up, Michael Bay?
I'd watch it.
We'll take a 10% commission, please.
They're both sitting in their little thing trying to hack each other's. You know what I mean? That would be the whole thing.
18 firewalls.
18. Yeah, exactly. Everyone just like people should be running and scared, but everyone's just watching on their phone.
They're just coding back and forth. That's all it is.
Yeah, exactly. I hate you. You're dumb. I hate you.
You look like the pregnant man emoji.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh.
But anyways, how much time we got? Probably not a lot.
We're just over the 2 hour.
All right. So anyways, it got a little contentious. So I think it was fun, but I think we had a good discussion. John, thank you so much for coming on. I really had it. Sorry if we rattled your cage a little bit.
Oh, it's all right. Sometimes you got to rattle the cage.
Yeah, no, dude, we love you. I think it was a good discussion. I think it's good.
Batman said that once.
Yeah, no, dude. I think this was a good discussion to have.
Yeah.
We're obviously not the most educated people in the world. We're not the greatest. We're not the end all be all. We're just people trying to have a conversation like how it used to be. And I love John. I'm so glad he came on. I'm glad we got to something significant like that. Sorry if we ruined Stranger Things for you. Joe Biden fell off a bike, and we're done.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Great.
Have you on again soon.
Yes, definitely. Bro, stupid. Like and subscribe.
Oh, thank you.
Have a good night, everyone. Bye, everybody.
Borat.
With no effort, I'ma take it to another level. I made some mistakes, I should be dead. But I still woke up this morning, I'm too blessed. When I shoot it, all I ever hear is swish. I always go like 10 for 10, I never miss. They sleep on me, I hate it when they do that. And I'm the greatest now, I said it before I knew that. I'm the greatest though. I'm way too connected, I can't never stop. I'm way too protected, I can't never fly. And not a spirit in me, I can't wait to pop. They hate on me, but my music, is it hate or not?